I gotta set everything back up. Thankfully, all my tabs are still open. How you indigenous woman? Like, who y'all talking to? What was the problem? Let me I gotta shrink in this TikTok weird. TikTok live is weird. I was like, really? They said, oh, they trying to ban me for a week, y'all. And I appealed that. Luckily they responded just in time. I was like, how are you indigenous? How are you indigenous? How about that? I'm indigenous because I'm indigenous. What's up? We're back, y'all. This is a loving live stream. This is a loving live stream. What's up, CP? I'm back, y'all. I got banned. The loving stream got banned. They tried to ban me for a week, y'all. We back, but we back. I got banned. They clapped it. They clapped my other live. It was like they tried to give me a week. I was like, oh hell no. Nah.
They just gave it right back to you. That's good.
Yeah, they get it right back. Yeah, it was like 5 minutes. For sure. What's up, Lloyd? Mm-hmm. They try to get me for a week. So I know who to not have on my panels. He gonna act like he ain't know what happened. Like, oh, what happened? He gonna come in here and act like he didn't get the live ban. Like, oh, what happened? Like, yo, if you don't get on, blocked. You're 5,000 followers. Like, we don't know you.
I was telling you, I said he didn't come here for no debate. He came here to cause
Mm-hmm.
chaos.
For sure.
What's up, Sam?
Note taken.
What's up? What's up, y'all?
What's up, Sam?
Before the chaos starts, I wanted to speak to the topic, if that's okay.
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Black Americans, well, let me say it out loud, are Black Americans forcing other Black Americans to become American Indians? I think Black Americans, and when I say that, I'm specifically talking about the group of Black Americans that, regardless of whoever's origin story, we've been taught in American school systems that we are a product of the transatlantic slave trade. So when I say Black
Mm-hmm.
Americans, that's kind of who I'm talking about. And I
Right.
think, because of, I don't know what it's been, access to just like more opinions, the rise of technology, the internet and things of that nature, it got folks, wanting to understand themselves a bit more, especially, they always said, we were slaves. We came from Africa. We don't know who our people are. We don't know what our origin story is, So then some folks even use that as a dig against us. You know what I mean? They try to like make us feel bad about that plight, right? So I think it just sends Black Americans on this like hero's journey of sorts of trying to understand who they are, what they're made of, what lineage, that they come from. And I think that's why a lot of folks gravitate to, ancestry and the 23andMe's and genetic testings and such, because there's this deep desire to want to understand, who you are and where you come from. So when you have this narrative, and it's a newer narrative for me, or not narrative, that's probably offensive, Darvin, to my apologies and receipt goddess. When you have this different origin story that is rooted around the American Indian, right? The melanated Indian that was here before Europe. It makes people think. It makes people really try to unravel. Hey, was the transatlantic slave trade exaggerated? Were there Black Americans here before? And and if so, does that change my ideology or my idea of where I come from, type of thing. um so I don't think that Black Americans are forcing other Black Americans to become American Indians. I think just the topic itself has made folks be more open-minded to who they really might be, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I'll land there. Plane landed.
All right, first for sure.
Hmm.
Alexa, did you want to come up or? Yeah.
I did want to add something about this transatlantic thing. That
For
was a
sure.
story that was actually published in the 1900s. There's been a push since like forever, but I mean, it's people who've been wanting to take over the lands, and as you can see, who's in possession of quote unquote power now today. You see, there are actually people who know and who have known who they were before 1988. The whole African American thing, and before this whole slave story was even spoken of in school. So, I mean, I'm glad that people are out here trying to figure things out, but this whole DNA thing, we all know that that's for entertainment purposes only. If you don't understand the database that they use to determine this, they do not use any type of saliva or anything. They don't use anything ancient. They actually use records. So the records that they use is basically trying to fit their narrative. So it's for entertainment purposes only. It's a joke.
Mm-hmm. Peace. What's up, insightful? How you doing?
I encourage everybody to do their genealogy.
For sure. But yeah, we back. I only been gone. They only counted me out for like 5 minutes. I'm back. They couldn't keep me down. Sean's has no proof of prior of you hit like it's called Paleo Indians. That's the science.
Science has no proof of you prior to. Yes, they do, but it's scientists that are racist, prejudiced, biased, that puts out a false narrative. It has a lot to do with you talking about science, right? So scientists, first of all, have no business digging up our ancestors on this land, and we all
Stop
know the
it.
reason why.
Stop.
Right?
Science is not
No,
prejudice.
scientists. I was talking.
Your ancestor, sister?
Uncle Leroy, don't start with me today.
How y'all doing, man? Halito,
Man, go on
Halito and
somewhere. Go on
Hotep.
somewhere. I'm talking. Mute up. You want to say
It's a
something,
greeting.
family?
I'm greeting you, sister. I'm greeting you.
Stop talking to me. People have an agenda, as you can see.
Hey,
I want to ask the Pan Africans a question too. What made your so quote unquote forefathers come up with this African context in the 1900s?
I would like
History
to
books.
assume your African guard is a half white woman. So forth.
Wait, hold on.
So are
say-
you
say-
saying you're not black at all?
No, I'm not.
Oh Lord.
Okay,
Half
so
woman.
look, sir, down here at the bottom, right? Hold on, I got it. Down here underneath me, you see the
So
the
you're not
outside
black
of
at
my-
all. You're not black at all.
did I answer your question? Who is you talking to? You need some energy, because you're not gonna get it from me. I'm gonna do nothing but piss you off.
Yeah,
So
So
she's
I'm just
melanated.
asking a
They
question,
say
man.
melanated or copper
Talking about-
colored or
Do y'all have
melanated.
any self control?
you have nothing to offer.
Man, why are grown ass men like over talk like three grown ass men just come off their mics for one? Like, come on.
Yes, because they're intimidated.
I just helped the sister out. I didn't even.
You didn't help me
you
out,
know
and
what I'm
don't
saying?
call me your
Like
sister.
she been trying to, she been trying to speak for the last like minute there. Like, come on.
Sister, or is that your Negro? I don't know the
The
difference.
that
Negro,
what?
the Negro word comes from Spaniards, right? That's who you are.
And what does that word mean, by the way?
That means you, black, Blake.
Well, no,
It don't sound black. Who talking?
Hold on. So my
And
whole
where-
thing is this:
how do you apply those words at this point in time with what you want to do? At
you
this
sound
point?
like a white sweet person. Can you just shut up?
That's what I said.
Can y'all let her
And all
finish?
y'all
Like,
trying to
damn.
do, all y'all. I mean, I could read all of y'all. All y'all trying to do is just trying to get the live took. Like,
You
calm
can't.
down.
There's
You can't,
nobody
you
who
can't.
can
And
read.
I'm
You're
not talking to
basically
you.
saying because we can't find our history, we're
Well,
automatically
can
Indian.
y'all let the woman hold on? Can y'all let the woman talk? Like, why are like show some goddamn decorum?
It's given very PEDO behavior. That's what they like
Yeah,
to
like
do.
can y'all like, bro, relax.
If she's gonna
Well,
be
I'm gonna start. All right, goodbye, Jay. Like, get on. Goodbye. Like, come on, dude.
Huh. So to address this person below me next to the other one, what are you saying about the science?
Well, it was a lot of talking, so I'm trying to get back on the topic again.
I
Like,
wasn't talking to you, Uncle. Can you
Oh,
mute up?
all right.
Like,
No,
man,
she's running the show. Let her direct.
I'm not running nothing.
Science
talking to me, so I
science
assume that.
literally
So.
has no proof of your existence.
Why did
prior to the 1500s. There's no culture. There's no
Everybody be
there's no
quiet.
arts.
I got
There's
it.
nothing, and there's nothing that you can
Okay,
show
so yes, I can.
to
So
prove that.
first of all, mute up,
You
right?
asked me a
And
question,
then
and now you want
secondly,
to talk
hold on,
over.
I got
Go
you.
ahead and talk.
You answered a very false narrative, right? And the sad part about it is you said there's no scientist that's going to prove this and that. First of all, stop calling me, a person like me, black. Okay? That is not who I am. That is a social construct, which means you are a prisoner. Okay? Which means you're a slave. Now, if we're talking about skin color, nobody is black. The people who they described as being black is people who are pale, wan, colorless, and albino. I'm neither. So when you say they have no proof, they do. I do. Do I have to prove myself to you? I could.
I don't
Secondly,
want you to. 'Cause
I
you
don't interrupt, and I don't need
don't want
nobody
you to,
getting.
'cause
I'm
you
not. I'm
can't.
not insulting you, and I know that that's what I am, sir. Now the sad part about it is, you say that they have no proof of us being here. What scientists are you talking about?
You go ahead.
All of them. Every anthropologist,
You're
every
you're you're lying.
single
Right
study
then and there.
that has been
So we're
done.
gonna move on from
There
that.
is no. There
You know what I'm
is
saying?
absolutely
And
no
let me ask you a
proof of your
question.
existence
Let me ask
here
you a question. Are
prior
you a
to the
native? You
1500s.
are a native, right?
None.
So in
Zero.
1990, a naturalized citizen, right, came up with an act to basically call it the Native Appropriation of Graves Act. Y'all be digging up our ancestors, right?
1990. I
And the
said the
sad thing about it,
1500s.
sir,
Why you
calm
talking
down, calm
1990s?
down, calm down, calm down, so you can understand what I'm saying. I know the reason why you are going to say what you're going to say. It benefits you, and y'all have been benefiting from it. So maybe you're a little scared because that little shit that y'all been doing is over with. So you know you can go ahead with your little rhetoric, but we already know the
Nobody
truth.
is scared.
You're,
Susan.
sir, you are
Nobody
an
is
inbred
scared.
ethnicity.
You're gonna keep muting me. I'm out. But you
I'm not
know,
muting you.
there's
Somebody
no
else
proof
is.
that you can provide other
Yes, it
than
is,
talking.
sir. That's all you're doing.
How about you source up? Yeah, you.
There's
Why don't
no
y'all
proof.
never bring a source?
There's
Like
no.
Never.
What do you mean?
why don't y'all never bring a you
Don't tell
source
me
up?
about my sources.
The
You
tragic
know,
That's
slave
Leroy
not
don't.
true,
trade.
I
Dawson.
give
I
Leroy.
proof
Leroy.
on you
Leroy. At
every
least Leroy
single
bring a
day
source,
on
even if
that.
it's all fucking topic.
You
He'll
know
bring a
that.
source. Ain't got
You
nothing to
know
do with
that.
nothing.
You know I
Leroy
throw
will at
my
least bring a
proofs and my
source. I'll give
sources
him
on
that.
you every single day on
You don't
X.
drop. You just type to me on X. You don't drop no fucking
Every
sources. Stop.
every single
No,
day.
you don't. No, you don't,
I
sir.
throw
Like, stop
sources
it.
and everything on you.
Like
Every day.
you just yapping, yo. Like,
Every day.
TikTok
Every day.
is
we could
for
go. Hold on, we can go
TikTok.
through this. I'll show my Twitter screen to see all your replies. I ain't seen the source yet, nigga.
Yeah, you have. You just don't want to accept it. But look,
Yeah,
you're
you
beautiful, man. I love you. I love
Man,
you.
I
You my
don't
man.
love your
You know
ass.
that. But I gotta go. I'm at work. I gotta
Yep,
go.
return to sender.
Yeah. Mm-mm. I don't love your ass, nigga.
I just got a couple questions whenever y'all get a chance, get to me. I'm confused.
So are you a Pan-African?
I mean, are you the host or, because I just wanted to ask some
I'm
questions.
asking you a
about-
question. Are you a Pan-African?
I mean, our people were brought here from my people were brought here from the tragic
your
slave
people.
trade.
Oh, okay. So the transatlantic
It's
slave
been
trade.
documented and proven.
What year was that story brought out?
Okay, but it's been documented and proven though.
What year?
You tell me. You tell me since you're saying it's
It's
fake.
your family. It's your family. You're supposed to tell us.
Right.
It's
So-
your family.
So that means it's fake because I don't know the year.
No,
No.
who said it's not?
Asking you what year did your family get here to America?
I don't know, man. But that because I
Did you
don't know
build
that,
your family tree?
because I don't know that makes me automatically native.
No,
though?
no, nobody's
That's
No,
crazy.
it doesn't, because there was a bunch of
That's
different black
crazy,
people
man.
that came to America. So that,
Okay.
did you
Lord.
do your family tree?
No,
Okay,
he
that's
did
your
not.
opinion. You have no.
We don't know who you are. We don't know who you are.
Hold
You could be a
on,
goddamn
hold on,
European.
because
Go ahead.
he might be right. He did switch his terminology to his family. He tried not to do generalization of everybody,
Right.
grouping everybody in. So he may be right that he do come from that story. He just don't know. That's why I'm asking him if did he build his family tree, because you may be able to find them receipts that your family did if you know that for a fact.
He don't.
So you guys are saying you're not black at all.
What makes us
Shit,
black?
shit. I'll say it, yeah. And I'm Indian. What, Sam? What you got to say about that?
You have no African in you at all. I'm
No,
just asking.
because Africans ain't
But
black.
Darvin,
Africans
you
ain't
admitted
black
to your
either.
admixture, right? You
What
said you're
admixture?
admix. You have You say you
Who
have
the-
African in you, right?
When? When was this?
I'm
Along
just
with your, you
asking,
say
man.
Piscataway, right?
This is the strangest stuff
Ain't
I've
no,
ever
what
heard.
Scott? Like what African?
Mm-mm-mm.
Thought
What
you
African
said
mixed
when we
into
talked the
don't stick
last
together
time that
because
you have
there's so much
Piscataway mixed
division.
with
with
African.
European? With European?
So no African.
No, because they lied about the African that supposedly came here. He ain't come from Africa.
But did Africans come to Virginia shores? Like, did they bring some at least? And like,
They brought
Mhm.
some. They mostly brought East Africans. They brought the Malagasy to Virginia.
hold on, I've been hearing that story on here, and I know that they brought the Malagasy, but they just had a big thing about the Igbo. They just had a thing where they made like a little Igbo village or whatever, and they acknowledged that they brought the
They're like-
Igbo to Virginia.
I mean, I'm not ruling it out, but I've seen I've seen more documentation from Malagasy than Evo.
Well,
'Cause
now
we
I
get-
see
but the-
why,
Go ahead.
I see why our race don't stick together because there's so much division.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
we sitting up here saying we're not, you know what I mean? Now I see why. TikTok has
Brother,
opened my eyes up
what African
to
tribe
this
you from?
world.
What African
You know,
tribe you from, brother?
Sir, hey,
Damn,
dude.
he
please,
don't know.
because I don't know my tribe.
I don't
He
know.
already said that he don't know, so there's no point in asking him what tribe.
So that
he
makes me
come from.
automatically native
Well,
because
no,
I don't know.
No,
we're
we ain't
not
say you was
saying that,
native either.
Samuel. No one
Okay.
has said that you was indigenous to America. No one has said
Okay.
that.
Are you indigenous to America?
Yes. So what did your
So
what,
where's your
what
proof?
oral history that was passed down from your
Where'd
grandparents?
you get your proof from?
I'm asking you a question. I'm trying
Where'd
to
you
help
get
you
yours
find
from?
your African, and you worried about what my ancestry is.
You lying, girl.
Prove it.
Boy, he said he
You
wanted to
prove-
talk
you
to me. What you want to
Prove
talk to me
it.
about?
Prove that I'm lying.
But
I
yeah,
thought so. I was trying to be the nicest one up here and help you out. I believe
said-
that you African. I
got
believe you.
feelings.
So we
he
cleared our
said he didn't want to talk to y'all. He didn't want to talk to no women. He wanted to talk to me.
No wonder he being disrespectful.
No, I'm-
Damn.
Well, C3 Mommy, do you have any like thing passed down from your family, like from your tribe and customs and spiritual customs like you guys pass down in your family?
Mm-hmm.
Your African customs.
Would you be able to like
Uncle Ruckus, did they pass down your African customs to you?
so I'm trying to go into this conversation with your sister before I get to you.
Okay, Uncle Ruckus.
Fadi's that's my new wife.
No, sir,
Uh-oh.
don't play. My husband is
Uh-oh.
always lurking, sir. Don't play with me, Uncle
Uh-oh.
Ruckus. Don't play with me.
I wanted to ask her about like her traditions. Like, okay, so when I see the Piscataway, I see the Lumbee and all that, they get together,
Modern day.
they wear their regalia and different things.
Hey yo,
To ask the C3 Mommy, does she participate in that?
Wow.
No one's running. No one's running. I was doing something, so it took me a minute to unmute. But to answer your question, did I grow up on a reservation? No. Did I grow up doing bill dances and stuff? No. Did I grow up learning?
What would those things be?
I used to sit down with my grandma, my aunties, and my mama, sew and do beading and stuff like that with her. We used to make quilts together. My tribe, the Choctaws, was cultivators. They did a lot of agriculture with the land, so that was passed down to me as well. I actually have a garden, and what was that, yesterday or the day before yesterday? No, Tuesday. Tuesday, I believe. I was in the garden with my grandma at her house. Let's see. Growing up, I wore ponchos. I did all that. But did I go to ceremonies and stuff like that? No, because my family left the Mississippi area, and migrated up to the Midwest where I was born.
Like we like Chicago and stuff, right?
Hmm?
So I know like white tea women that crochet and do
Let's
beaded
get the
work
title screen,
and
y'all.
different things. Are they Choctaw too, or would they be native by that?
Don't white
I
tea
know a
women?
lot of
No.
yeah, I know
But
a lot
I
of them that
wonder who
crochet.
taught them that. I wonder who taught them that because that's not really a part of their culture. We all know that white tea people like to go around the world and adopt everybody's culture and claim it as their own. We all know that. We know
So
what they did to the black people of America. I'm using black loosely because the few Africans that was enslaved here with the indigenous people that was enslaved here was all grouped up into one category under Negro, colored, and black. So we know what they did here in America was stealing people inventions and patents and stuff like that and claiming it for their own, or using our genre of music and stealing the whole lyrics and using it as their own to make money, like Elvis and whatnot. So I wonder who taught them that.
So if I look up the history of crocheting, it's going to say that it comes from the Choctaw culture, right? And gardening.
From the Choctaw culture.
Tribes, right? Tribes are a part of the barter system. You got to understand what our tribes are for. We are way more ancient than that as well. So the crazy part about it is the crazy questions that you're asking is kind of really makes no sense. But I wanted to show you
Because it's like saying that we eat food and that's a part of the Choctaw culture. Like
First of
everybody eats
all,
food.
sir,
I want specifics,
out of
right?
all of the traditions that you see on the modern day Choctaws, they don't do no cultivating. That's the point.
You talking about the ones in Oklahoma?
Sure,
They don't do
no
cultivating.
cultivating.
I literally was just in Oklahoma. I was in the Choctaw area. It's nothing but white people there. Literally. I was live. I cut my camera on. People saw where I was at.
Yeah, most
So
of them
so how did the black Choctaw let the white Choctaw? Oh, sorry, Fadi. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So we didn't let them do anything. To be honest with you, with the Moroccan treaties, right? Because these people were labeled as Maghreb, right? With those treaties and stuff and indenture servitude that we had here, yeah, these people have gotten assimilated through them. So when you understand the history and the trail that it comes down from, is a lot of the Pan Africans had something to do with it. A lot of the Freemasons, fraternities, yeah, religions. They had a lot to put these people in position of power. How are these people indigenous when they don't come from the people who created every fucking thing?
Yup.
Claim Aboriginal.
I don't care
Freemasons
what they
claim to be
claim. They
Aboriginal.
actually
Yeah.
self-identify as native. They are
How many
Okay,
made it?
so
Not how many were taken, how many made it.
I'm gonna say the first thing first. Uncle Ruckus was anti-African and anti-black, so I can't be Uncle Ruckus. He doesn't
Uncle
like the
Ruckus,
black. He
Sir,
doesn't like.
sir, I
He
already
doesn't like
told you
being
weeks
African.
ago the name is established. Uncle Ruckus, answer the question.
No, we can't if he doesn't. If he
Answer the
doesn't, he
question,
wouldn't like
sir.
me.
Answer the question, sir.
Uncle Leroy and Uncle Ruckus would
Answer
have
the
beef.
question, sir.
So 12.
See, if
12
you knew
years.
what you was talking about, Uncle Ruckus is from the Boondocks. I don't know who Uncle Leroy is.
Yeah, Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, he was anti-black. You remember he did his. They forced him to do his DNA because he was saying he was white
sir,
tea.
sir, answer the question because when I first met you, you was defending all of these pan people, the diaspora people that was against our own people that said trifling stuff about our own people. So that's why I named it Uncle Ruckus. Now answer the question. How many people they said got on those boats and actually survived the trip and made it to the Americas?
So around 12 million, the estimate.
Actually, it was 10 million. They said 12 million got on the boat, but only 10 million made it, right? That's the story we told.
Thank you,
Now,
son.
Yeah,
I
so
want you
about
to
10 to 12
Google.
million.
I want you to Google, and if you can't Google, somebody on here, I can do it myself, but I'm busy at the moment. I want you to tell me how many people they said were G-sided among the Native Americans due to colonialism. What's that number?
You said what Native Americans were G-sided? I gotta go look that up. I can Google it.
Can
Though.
somebody Google it real quick? What is the number
You want
of
me to go
people
Google it?
that were G-sided? Actually, let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Oh, if I remember correctly, 10 million.
It is 10 million. The exact same number. How was that?
That's a lot,
They
man. Y'all
they
not,
unalived 10 million people and then brought 10 million people when they could have just used those 10 million people to be their slaves.
Make it make sense.
well, you can't enslave people that know the land and know how to run away.
People
They
clearly
know it
don't
better
know the
than you.
land because who was the farmers? It wasn't them. It still ain't them.
Well, a lot of Indians were hunter gatherers
Hey, so how did they know the land? How was it
because
that we
they
able to,
lived
hold
on.
on, here's a better question, Uncle Ruckus. How were we able to create an underground railroad based on the stars if we didn't know the land? If we only stayed on one
Well,
plantation for generations unless we were sold?
well, the star. Anybody can look up to the stars. The stars not indigenous to the land. Like
I
anybody
didn't
can look
say
at
it was
the
indigenous
sky
to
to
the
look
land.
at the
How we knew
stars.
which way was freedom if we wasn't
Because
from the
by that
land?
time it was already like 100 or something, 200 something years that people that on the eastern seaboard people were on the land. Like the Underground Railroad didn't go out west; it went up like north and up into Michigan and all that. Not too far from, and it's directly up from like Mississippi, Alabama, Virginia, and all these places.
They
Like
know
it didn't go to
where
Montana.
go to get to freedom.
Because they had already started, the European already started mapping out that area already. Like that area was already
What's up, Ron?
established. And people were traveling
Wait
that
a
area,
minute,
going
no,
from
that's not
plantation to
true.
plantation.
Uncle Ruckus, hold on, because you're spreading misinformation now. Because if you read a book, you would have seen that they actually used our people to be their guides. I'm going to go ahead and say the black people because the people in the room they're going to say, "Who are you talking about?" They use black people as their guides. They also
They
use
had
black
major help
people
from
to
Europeans.
send the messages.
Major help.
No, it was a major help, sir. They didn't know the land.
The white tea that helped them knew the land too. On that side, like you don't see the
Okay.
you don't see it going out to Montana.
Okay.
My God,
The Underground Railroad.
why would the same people that trying to oppress us give us information or knowledge to help
Because
us?
every white tea person wasn't trying. You ever heard of John Brown?
Yeah, brother, I feel what you're saying. Information. See, when we used the quilts and the blankets, the way they threaded them and the way they set them up, the decoration that they put into them were maps. So all of these things that was getting done for the Underground Railroad was our process. It was our thought process. They had nothing to do
We had help from
anybody
white tea
outside
people
of
too.
us.
Like
brother.
it's okay.
No, and this another thing. We actually, the funny thing is, a lot of people ask these questions, but the government have it documented. All the the reclassification acts, the separation act, separation clauses that's been going on with the indigenous people of America for a long time, brother. Like it's a lot that's literally just straight up documented. Like presidents got this stuff documented where they talk about what was going on when they came here, even in Virginia. Like when you talk about the Boston Tea Party, it was some dudes that dressed up like they was trying to dress up like some native people, some indigenous people to do what they did when they threw all the tea into the ocean and stuff, right? But the thought process behind why they did it is because they was trying to blend in with the rest of the population. So if they trying to look like a copper color person and they trying to blend in with the rest of the population, that would tell you that that's what's going on through civilization at that time. You feel me?
You just said we were enslaved using quilts.
What you say?
What happened?
Yeah, what you say?
Said we were copper colored people. I thought you were saying that we were enslaved because you were talking about the
What's the
quilts
oracle?
and everything
No,
that we
I'm
were.
talking about. I'm talking about when we talk about the Underground Railroad and the thought process behind anything that had to do with it. Like when you talk about the secret maps that was implemented into the quilts and blankets that people were making, all of that. That's a ancient thought process. That process go all the way back into the native or indigenous people that put symbolism in the quilting and blankets and stuff like that. They don't have nothing to do with no colonizers. It'd be
Why
no
were they
reason,
using
it'd be
quilts
no
to put
reason for them to
hidden
tell.
messages in?
Yeah, I'm just saying it'd be no reason for them to tell anybody that's here that if they're not.
Why would they have to hide this in quilts and do all this other stuff? Hide it in
The
their
same
brain.
reason Africans would have to.
Symbolism has always been a thing, regardless on if somebody is free or not free. Symbolism is in our everyday life. You feel me? So symbolism always been a part of a way for people to leave a ideal or some type of thought process behind just with a gnosis. You feel me? So
But
it
this
don't
was
got
symbols
it
of
really,
escape
the
routes.
symbolism don't have nothing to do with actually escaping. It could just be maps to map out the world, to map out
Yeah,
what's
but what
going
did
on.
these particular quilts? What did these particular quilts? Because they were escaping. Like we know they were using it to escape. It wasn't like a cosmology about some they ancient past or nothing. These quilts were
No. It
used
could have, yeah,
as
it could
maps
have just
to
been there. It
escape.
could have just been maps of the land. It didn't have to necessarily be to escape. Now they could be used for escape, but they could have just been maps of the land. If we talking about what coulda, woulda, shoulda, and all that stuff, they could have just been maps of the land. And if that had happened, then that would have been a viable tool to use.
Why would they just make random quilts of maps of the land? And what could the tradition within the culture would it be connected to that whatever type of aboriginal tribe this was? Like what would it be connected to?
Symbolism has always
No, not symbolism. I'm talking about this particular symbolism.
Yeah,
You're
but
talking about
listen,
this particular
I
symbolism.
know.
It would be connected to a tribe, right?
Yeah.
So the Lenni Lenape and the Piscataway, they would have maybe similar, spiritual traditions and symbols and all that, but it'll vary and it'll be different depending on what tribe and clan you at. So this particular quilting process, what clan or tribe was doing this, and what did it connect it to within their culture?
Yeah. So symbolism has always been a part of every ancient civilization, no matter how micro or macro the symbolism is trying to interpret. So it could be anything, but like you can run across some things, you can run across some rocks with some carvings in them and think that that don't have any significant value, but it's symbolism for whatever they want it to be. I can't tell you because I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? But since we asking
Thank
like
God for the gifts.
theoretical questions, yeah, what's going on?
No, I was addressing
So
the
you,
text.
so you,
Yeah.
so you
but since
basically
we,
just making
since we
assumptions
asking-
about what it is.
Nah,
Making assumptions about what it is.
I was making assumptions on what it could be used for because that's what you were doing when you was making assumptions. See, at first I
Making assumptions. That's what's documented.
Yeah,
That's
I know
documented on it.
exactly. So let me give you some facts because I like to talk facts. Now, when we start talking in the theoretical realm, we can go on and on back and forth all day with our head up our ass. But let's talk about facts. The facts of the matter is we have it documented that we have separation and
Anybody want to drop for OG?
reclassification clause all through America. We have it documented that the quote unquote Native Americans are actually Siberians, but it was groups and civilization here before that happened. And
So
how do we know that? Hold up, how do we know that? I'm finna make it make
He's
sense.
going
for
off
you.
top. He's straying off topic a little bit. We're trying to stay on these quotes right here, right? We want to talk about the Klan. We want to talk about the symbol. Like, what's the symbol?
Hold on.
I was trying to answer the question.
Hold on
My
one
bad.
second.
I was finna
Hey,
go on and get into it.
Hey, consciousness, 1 second. Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said be respectful. That's why I say that in the comments, because you already know that all of us say that we're American Indian. You coming up here with a picture saying you ain't no damn Indian.
Like, I even peeped that.
Yeah. As if that's gonna change us from stopping identifying as American Indian. That's what I be talking about. Like, y'all come over here, be disingenuous. We already know that you're not gonna agree with anything that we say, so we really just be wasting our time even talking to y'all. But yeah. Get that right.
So I think it'll be.
I see your
easy.
tactic. I see your tactic, but it ain't
Even
working.
if it's something to agree with.
It's no tactic. I literally just asked you to be respectful. That's all. Nobody come to
If
y'all
you're not
live.
going to debate, bro,
Nobody
nobody
come to y'all live and say y'all not African. You say you African, will be African.
You do it all the
Nobody cares.
time.
No, I don't. I don't come over there and tell y'all you're not African. Why would I ever do that?
I definitely don't come over to that. I don't even go to y'all lives.
Yeah, a lot of y'all are scared to
exactly.
come to our lives because
Ain't
y'all
nobody
can't
scared to
defeat us
come to
in
y'all.
debating.
Yep, dude. Y'all don't. Why would I come to your live when you yapping
Because
my live?
y'all fear,
That has
y'all
nothing.
fear
Hold on, 1
debating
second. No,
us.
1 second. Yo, y'all don't even be on fucking topic. You literally showed us a shit of a goddamn East Africa. That ain't got shit to do with the United States.
OHF literally
OHF has ran from me twice, dude. He's ran from me twice. I don't respect y'all to even come to y'all lives. No, I don't.
Yeah.
But that's the excuse all the time, man.
I don't
Go ahead,
respect
Red.
y'all.
I'm sorry.
People combating. It's too many people combating with their opinions, man. Like,
Well,
if
so
we
I don't
get to talk
use
facts, it'll be cool. But
conscious. I don't use opinions. I use facts.
I ain't talking about you, brother. I'm just giving a general.
I'm just trying to get in because you've been
Yeah,
talking.
I got you, brother.
So the thing is that I don't come with opinion in this. I come with factual information, and I like to always start from the beginning, from the bones. I always like the bones, and I want to know why there are
Monkey bones.
I want to know why there's no indigenous Negro bones proving that we was always in America. Because I mean, and then we always point to
They found bones in Southern California.
Well, okay, so let's get into it.
I got big got plenty of proof behind that, bro.
1 second. One second. I got this. Albert parody. Why is his Y chromosome older than Africa? Hold on. Why is his Y chromosome older than the ones in Africa?
They linked it back to Cameroon, so we can stop that.
He's over 100,000 years older than him. Can y'all do math?
So 300, hold up. 300,000 year old DNA, but Homo sapiens, everybody was.
It's only 300,000. Hold on 1 second. I got hold on 1 second. Yeah, we had 1 second. Yeah, that Y chromosome is 340,000 years old. Modern Homo sapiens. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. His Homo sapiens are only 300,000 years old. So where the fuck? How the fuck does that add up?
Exactly.
So let's get to brass tacks. So his DNA is some of the oldest found in America, but his DNA traits. Am I gonna be allowed to finish?
One second. I already answered that. I already answered that. He's over 100,000 years older than those people in Cameroon.
No, he's not.
No. I have the chart. I have the chart, sir.
But his DNA traces.
How does it trace back to something that he's older than?
Brother, it can't trace back the Y. His DNA is older than the Y chromosome.
Hold up,
Red. Listen,
all of you guys are gonna talk over.
I answered my no. 1 second. Hold on. I got this, dude. One second. I already answered that. Y'all have yet to rebut that. How is he? Hold on. How does he trace? But just answer. If you don't know, then just say you don't know.
I do know.
How does his lineage trace back to something that he's older than?
because a place does not have to be named in order for it to exist. A place existed before its name.
Oh,
Your source
okay,
at?
okay,
We're
but
talking about
Your source at?
No, 1 second. We're talking
All
about
three of
people.
y'all can't talk to me.
We're talking about people. He's older than those people in
He
Cameroon.
is not older
Yes, he
than
is.
the
Yes, he
people.
is. Let me pull up the chart.
His DNA is not older than the people.
Yes, it is,
I
dude.
mean, even still,
am I talking to the host or am I talking to you?
hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, his people trace back to Africa, right? Like his DNA being found, his Y paternal haplogroup being 340,000 years old, that still debunks the out of Africa theory, because out of Africa says that we came from a modern human
We're
200 and some thousand years ago.
currently talking about the out of Africa theory. We're currently
Yes,
talking. Hey, wait a minute. I can't talk to all three of you at the same time. I got to be allowed to answer. So the thing is that Albert Perry's DNA traces back to Africa. We're not talking about the out of Africa theory or the naming of Cameroon prior to its naming. It existed prior to its naming. It was there. The people were there.
Well, I mean, if you pull up the study says that they're only finding it over there at a 0.19% rate. So because of that, they're having to look at other places being the origin of his people versus Africa. That says that on the National Library of Medicine study.
It said more than that. It said they searched so hard for other people to match his DNA markers, because when it came to those Africans, you talking about Cameroon, they didn't match his entire DNA or even half his DNA. They barely matched one marker on his DNA. And
Do y'all have the same markers and DNA as Albert Perry? What do you guys?
Hold on, Uncle Ruckus.
DNA,
Hold
everything
on,
go
Uncle
back
Ruckus.
to?
1 second. They started.
All right, baby.
They started testing. Stop playing with me. They started testing animals. You know, because everybody likes to believe that whole theory of we came from monkeys. We evolved from an animal, even though monkeys still exist. I don't know how the rest of them ain't, evolved with the rest of us. They started testing monkeys and didn't even match them. Nobody has fully matched or halfway matched or a quarter matched to this man's DNA, which is why we keep trying to tell y'all before we even found out about Albert Perry that we ain't the same people. Just because we're all melanated people don't mean we're the same people.
Well, so one thing everybody on Earth is melanated, and two, nobody ever said we descended from monkeys or evolved from monkeys. We have a common ancestor, as all do.
People did say that. White people.
There's plenty of people.
No. White people never said.
Yes, science. White people.
Ma'am, I didn't interrupt you while you were talking. So the thing is that no, nobody says that. Science has never said that. I don't know who keeps interpreting it that way. There's trees, there's branches that we can look at as to how things evolved. I don't know why we were even talking about monkeys. We had a common ancestor.
That doesn't make any sense.
We did not evolve from
that.
Monkeys.
Doesn't make.
But what I
make
have
any
on,
sense.
we're talking about Albert Perry. It doesn't have to make sense to you. And what we have on the screen is Albert Perry's DNA, which states that Albert Perry descends from the Imbo people out of Africa.
That stick drawing? Come on, man. You gotta come better than that.
Higher science.
More than a stick
Top to bottom.
It's an actual article that couldn't be seen because it was on a partial screen.
They hard for that one.
Hold on. If you look at your chart, if you take your chart into account, since you got it up on the big screen, look at the chart. At the bottom, it says everyone else tested, 0 estimated before present. Then it says, hold on, wait a minute. Then the second line says the former Adam, the one that everybody was thought to have come from. It says in earliest known fossils of autonomically whatever modern humans, a few Central North Africans, a few. They didn't fully match to him. And then it says the revised Adam. They said if you read the entire report from the top to bottom that they had no choice but to believe he came from a different Adam than the Africans.
So so it absolutely says to find where Perry's Y chromosome may have come from. Samples from around Africa were tested. Several more from Perry's branch were almost the the Imbo people of Cameroon. So that's all needs to be said right there.
It still means Paris to that. Hold up, brother. They doing it to match facts that they cannot wrap their head around that they ran across. So peep my drill. Hold up, peep my drill.
You're not gonna produce
For
information.
the longest, if you connected to Adam, the Y chromosome, that is our common ancestor. And
what Adam are you talking about? Are you talking about Adam from the Bible?
I'm talking about DNA. I'm talking about
Are you
DNA.
talking about Adam from the Bible?
Hold up, I'm talking about
No, it
DNA.
says
I'm
Adam
talking about
is free.
chromosomal Adam. That means the Y chromosome.
Oh, I know what that means.
Mitochondrial Eve means the X chromosome. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
So-
genetics. This time,
yeah,
you
let's
can't
talk
read
about
it.
it.
All right, so hold
Why-
up. Just listen to me for 1 second, brother. I'm trying not to be confusing. So
You
when
are
you
confused.
talk about everything that has the common ancestor is the chromosomal Adam. If this dude DNA doesn't trace back to that at all.
It traces back to Cameroon.
No, it don't trace back to Cameroon.
Oh,
It may
okay,
be
so
a couple
you can
people
say
over
what you
there
like. The article
that
said something
had
different.
DNA with him.
You
but
can
this
say you can say what you like. The article says something different. So the thing is that I mean we don't even need to go there. So when we asked for evidence, so we know the haplogroups that people in America are and one of y'all have a background echo bad, but we know the haplogroups that people in America are A, B, C, D, X, and Q. Q and X specifically being people here in America. Those haplogroups belong to the Native Americans, the people that you would call the Athabascan, the Siberian, or whatever. Those haplogroups were peopled here, and those were the ones that peopled America. And only way Black people or melanated people, even though everybody's melanated, but I'll use your jargon, possess those haplogroups is if they have a Native American ancestor. How come we don't find those people, the haplogroups that Black people possess, people in America, which would be L0 through L3? Those did not people America. Those are found en masse in
Albert Perry.
Africa. Those are found en masse in Africa.
What's the genealogy of Albert Perry?
So
where the Perry last name come from?
In Africa.
What's the percentage?
Oh no, yeah. What's the genealogy of Albert Perry? Where's folks from?
His genealogy traces back to Cameroon. That's all I need to know.
Where's the Perry last name come from?
Oh, what does that have to do?
No, I'm not. Yeah, it has to do with a lot. It has to do with one second. Yeah, we skipped on up. We have to deal with a lot. Like, let me talk, dude.
Yeah. Go ahead. So yeah, stop asking me questions and present.
I'm not asking shit. I'm talking, right? Now, with that being said, where's the Perry last name ties back? It ties back since he's from the Carolinas, right? It goes back to the Nadsmen. It also goes back to the Chowano, mixed with the English, right? Right. There's Perrys that go back real far in the Americas. So with that being said, who's the African people that Albert Perry descends from?
So
what year did they get? What year did they get to America? What year did they get to America?
Are you asking me a question, or you just gonna?
I'm just gonna keep talking because it's my fucking
life.
Oh,
so
right?
You keep talking then.
Yeah, I traced it back to England.
Yeah, England, but did you find Africa?
No, I traced it back to England. It says a person living near a pear tree. So you trace it back to
the Perry surname, because they married into the Hunter family, right? The Hunter family and the Perry family married into the Nadsmen in the Chowano in Virginia and North Carolina.
You see the way they Watusi dotted the DNA into a last name? England.
Yep.
Can you even name Albert Perry's? Who are Albert Perry's parents? Can y'all name them? One second. Yeah. Hold on. Who are Albert Perry's parents? Can you name that?
Okay, because all this stuff documented.
Does his haplogroup? Can you find that haplogroup over there?
No. I'm asking y'all parents. Who are Albert Perry's parents?
Albert Perry's parents would possess the same DNA that he did.
Oh no. Who are they? Can y'all name? Can y'all name?
We're talking about.
We're talking about. No. We're talking about genealogy now. So would that be? Hold on. Well, yeah, we're talking. Yeah, exactly. Can y'all? Yeah, Trump.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so can you name Albert Perry's parents for me?
Can you explain why his DNA?
No, hold on. One second.
Explain why.
Can you? Are you done? Are you done talking me? So you about to get off the stage?
Don't mind that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. I don't know why y'all think y'all so important. Y'all come to my line. Hold on. Hold on, no, you gonna get dropped too. Y'all come to my lives. I don't come to y'all lives. Y'all not important. So
Well,
that
how you
be
come to ours?
yeah, man. I mean, shut up. No, but y'all struggle for clicks on every social media.
No, y'all
Nobody gives a
dance.
fuck on. Nobody gives a fuck about Pan African Babble on no social media. Y'all get ran off Twitter. Y'all quiet as hell on Twitter. Y'all done got ran off Clubhouse. Y'all done got ran off. Nobody gives a fuck about y'all on Instagram. Nobody gives a fuck about y'all on TikTok. Y'all only come to our lives as the only place y'all are relevant. We make y'all relevant. Nobody here cares
We
about
never
that.
block
Nobody cares.
aboriginals. We always get blocked on y'all panel because y'all be scared that
No,
we
ain't
become with
nobody
the
scared
truth.
of. Ain't nobody scared of shit, dude. If y'all debunked us, we wouldn't be getting no more momentum every day. Nobody gives a fuck about what y'all are talking about. Y'all gotta come to us.
Anything we trying to help y'all ignorant. Damn.
I ain't trying to help us, bro. Y'all
Bro, we all,
destroying a lot of people's
y'all
minds, bro.
indoctrinated, brother, and it's a lot of facts that I ain't see. When I say ignorant, I don't mean that as a disrespectful term because I'm ignorant to a lot. So what I mean is, it's a lot of stuff that you may just not know that may connect the dots a little bit better for you
I'm
to
trying to put myself up.
a more common
All right, I got you.
understanding. You feel me? That's all I'm saying, brother. You feel me? Like sometimes
No,
if you
I'm gonna
don't
say
know
this
the
because
full, if you don't see every angle of the picture, you ain't gonna be able to get the full view.
so Trump.
If
So
I,
in the
if,
era of
if,
Trump,
hold on,
the Trump era,
hold on,
right?
real
Where they're
quick.
erasing a lot of black history. They're erasing a lot of black history out of the schools and everything, and they're trying to
Ain't no such thing as black.
1491 project and all this stuff. You guys can be used as a political pawn because
Uncle Record.
you're what
Are
is
Pan
it? What is
Africans
the
not
word I'm
being
looking
used as a
for?
political pawn?
Yeah, Aboriginal or FBA can be used as a political
You
pawn.
can't.
Like,
Are
Hey,
Pan Africans not
you know
being
what I'm
used as a
saying? To
political
divide
pawn?
that.
Hold on,
You said
y'all
what?
are being used as political pawns too. What are you talking about?
No, because we're gonna talk
No,
about
ain't
slavery.
no,
We're gonna
ain't
talk
no,
about
ain't
injustice
ain't no,
that was done
ain't
with
no,
black
no.
people.
Y'all get used as political pawns. That's why they have Pan African countries.
correct.
No,
Hold
we're
on,
not.
Agenda 2060.
Erasure of the
Hold on 1 second. Agenda 2063. Look it up.
erasure of our history
Hey,
is
hold
beneficial to
on,
white tea
hold-
supremacy, bro.
hold
That's
on,
beneficial to
man.
them.
Y'all always
That's
talking
why
about
they
white
going through the
supremacy.
elementary
What the
schools
fuck?
in Florida
Go ahead,
and all
OG.
that, and
And
taking
that
black
shit in them
history out of the
elementary
school.
schools is
Okay, yeah.
indoctrination.
So,
Indoctrination
All right,
bullshit
all right.
anyway.
Let OG
yeah.
go.
So this is from the National Library of Medicine or whatever, talking about Albert Perry. So it says, I'm gonna just read this paragraph right here. It says, we then genotyped a set of six Y chromosomes, short tandem repeats, and then it says D, whatever, and found that the AOO chromosome carried the following alleles: 16, 11, 19, 10, 12, and 13. Hold on. Upon searching a large pan African database consisting of 5,648 samples from 10 countries: Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi, uh, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and South Sudan. It says we identified 11 Y chromosomes that were invariant and identical to the AOO chromosome at 5 of the 6 YTRs, right? So then it says 2 of the 11 chromosomes carry DYS 19 through 16, whereas the others carry DYS 19 through 15. And then it says these 11 chromosomes were all found in a sample of 174 IMBO individuals from Western Cameroon. 7 of the IMBO chromosomes were available for further testing, and the genotypes were found to be identical at 37 of 39 SNPs known to be derived on the AOO chromosome. So, right here, first, let's analyze this. So, it says they found 37 of the 39 SNPs that AOO has in these 174 individuals. So that still means that they would have came from him because if they were his direct descendants or whatever, I'm pretty sure that they would have had 39 out of 39 S&Ps. I could be wrong, but anyways, it says using the joint likelihood for the split of two lineages and the lineage internal to one of them, we estimated that the most recent common ancestor of the African American and IMBO AOO chromosomes lived between 2.6 and 73 KYA. So 2.6 to 73 KYA. So for the people who don't know, it says KYA typically stands for kilo years ago, meaning 1,000 years ago. So their most recent common ancestor, Albert Perry and the people over in Africa, their most recent common ancestor would have been between 2,600 and 73,000 years ago. So that still means that he didn't come from Africa.
The split around the time
Doesn't at all.
they
And
try
also,
to
can
say
y'all kick them off? Would y'all like to
talking
have
about what?
Red?
Man,
I
repeat
had
that?
already said that. Listen, I had
Y'all too
said-
sassy. We can't have too many
he
Pan
just
Africans on the
said it.
panel. Y'all too sassy.
Yeah, brother, cause I had
Sassy
already
as
said,
hell.
brother. You feel me? Like, bro didn't want to listen then, cause it was simple. He just read it in black and white for y'all, cause you know I'm kind of from the streets, so I may say like stuff a little different. You may not understand what I'm trying to convey, but that's exactly what I was meaning, bro. Like, you gotta understand, just because they have some DNA that they can match with this guy doesn't mean that his pool of DNA comes from them. It could be the total opposite.
But you can't find it amongst any native populations here or anything. You can find it in Africa. Like everything that traces you guys back to Africa, you refute it. Like, because y'all just
Yeah,
ashamed of
because
being
y'all
black
could.
in Africa.
Hold on, name your African ancestor right now.
Anytime I done did this about 8 on 8.
All right, he's half Arab. He's
And
half
that's what
Arab.
we call him Uncle Ruckus. Ain't nobody ashamed of being black.
You're half Arab. He was half Ibrahim is a half
he's
Arab.
not half Arab. He's not half
Yeah, his
Arab.
mother was Moorish,
Anything
dude. Like,
he
come
would
on,
have
bro.
North African. He would have some North African.
An Arab.
DNA
He's a
in him,
fucking
especially
Arab.
in Mali.
Yeah, he's half Fulani, Fula, and half Moorish. So you're a goddamn, goddamn colonizer.
That doesn't
I'm
mean
gonna
he's
use your own
Arab.
talking point against you, Uncle Ruckus.
He's a goddamn Arab. He's half.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. But he's half Moorish, half Fulani, so he's half colonizer.
No, he's not a colonizer because
Yes, he was.
Uncle Ruckus,
Understand,
you said on your genealogy that you found at least one ancestor, right? That was African. Or somebody that was raised for Africa. Beyond that, when you did your DNA test, did you get hits of African cousins?
Yeah, they got some African cousins. My uncle was more in touch with them, and
No,
people
I ain't
that
talking
related
about
to
your
us in
uncle.
Africa.
I'm not talking about your uncle.
Actually, it's a cousin. Hold on, it's a cousin.
Wait a minute, Uncle
It's a
Ruckus.
cousin
Wait
in
a minute.
Africa that we share the
Listen to the
same
question.
DNA markers with
Listen to the
the
question,
Ibn
Uncle
Ibrahim
Ruckus.
Sudi brother.
Okay, that's great. Listen to the question that I asked.
Yeah.
I said, I know about your uncle having some African DNA. Clearly, somebody recently whoever was one of his people. That's obvious. When you or him did y'all DNA test, did y'all get just that 1-2 people as a hit of Africa, or did
We
you
got
get hundreds of
Angolan.
thousands?
We got Angola. We got Angolan as well.
When
Going back
Ryan
to
was putting
Queen's
you
English.
to, I said, how many?
Are you related to the
cousins?
white Mozingos?
Huh?
He's related to the white T Mozingos.
Yeah.
That's your
How
cousin.
many cousins did you find besides the one and the whoever?
Majority
related
of
to
my
your uncle?
cousins would be over here because we intermarried, we moved up, people
No,
had children.
no, DNA
So
still was
majority of
DNA.
them would be over here
Not true.
in
not
the
true.
Americas and stuff
Not
like that.
true, because
So,
I have
yes,
heard
it would be
people-
true.
Hold on, because you said we came from Africa. So when you did that DNA test, and some of them claim they done their DNA test, you would also be linked to some of them. Not one, not
So
two,
DVD.
a bunch of them.
Yes, that's why we need more
Oh, these
people
are
to
cousins.
do the DNA. The more people do the DNA test, the
More
more links
Africans.
pop up.
Be specific, because
The more links pop up. That's what y'all don't get about DNA tests.
Yeah,
You
that's
need
what
more
y'all don't
people
get about
to do the
DNA
DNA
tests.
test. If a person hasn't done it, their DNA
on.
is not going to be in the system.
Brother,
Sure.
but DNA test is
Hold on,
only
Nick, hold
based
on.
off what's in the system. So it's only based off what
That's
they
why we
You
have
said
to
you
have more
you linked back to.
Hold up. So,
put it in
so
the
when
system.
you have that thought process,
The
understand.
host trying to talk.
Yeah, my
Yeah, I was
fault.
gonna-
My fault.
You said you linked the Queen and Zinga, Leroy.
Yeah, Queen and Zinga. Well, Queen and
these your
Zinga. It's
cousins.
crazy through white tea
Yeah.
people though.
Yeah, that's your
Like
cousin.
people
Yeah,
that
most
label themselves white.
your
White tea
cousins
people are African.
for sure.
No, they're not. I don't know. where
Yeah,
you
they're
get that from.
African.
They are.
They're
Oh,
African.
They have a whole
Literally
continent
came
with
off
black
the
people
page.
that they're
Sir.
like
Look it
in the
up. Look
countries.
it up.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
These your cousins, Leroy. So they're African too, just like you.
I don't. Who
These
is
your
that?
cousins, the Mozingos. Yeah, they're
Mozingo,
related.
yeah.
They're related to Indian Zingas. Yep. These your cousins.
Yeah, but they trace themselves back. They're traced
Mm-mm.
back to an Angolan man that came from over there that was
Yeah,
enslaved.
Dwart. Yeah.
And they were owning slaves too.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting that you pulled that up.
Yep. And guess what they?
Where did the
And guess
name
what they
Angola
descend
come
from?
from?
Slave traders, right? Makes
Yeah.
sense. It run in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder which African tribes were tested DNA.
All the African tribes.
It was
that
only
did
They're
that
not
was
just
4,000.
going
what's
tracing the
going
whole
on.
tribe. It's
Uncle
people that have
Ruckus.
to take the test
Uncle Ruckus,
and
why aren't
volunteer
you
to take the
telling
test.
your
for this
African
thing.
brothers and sisters to take the test? I've been telling them to take the test.
It
so they can
is. That's
find
why
their
they're
long lost
tracing stuff
siblings
back.
and cousins they've been missing. Tell them to take the
Y'all
test.
should take. Y'all need to
No,
take
no,
the test
no.
because
It's
there's
not
going to be
us.
your
We know
DNA
who
in
our
there. You're the
family.
African
Uncle
people that need to
Ruckus.
take it.
Uncle Ruckus.
Less
It's
than
not
2%.
us who is
Facts.
looking for our family. It's not us who need to prove that we come from Africa. It's them. If we're crazy, we're a lot of our minds saying that we're not African. They should go and take these tests so it can pop up with all of their long lost relatives to debunk what we're saying. That would be the quickest way to shut this down if we're so diabolically wrong about
Y'all
what we're
not going to
saying.
believe it though. Y'all going to make
Why
up
wouldn't
some
we
other
believe
excuse.
it?
Bro, I
You,
Why
believe
wouldn't
because
we
you're making up
believe
excuse
it?
right now with Albert Perry.
We wouldn't believe a test
Albert
that
Perry
said you are
haplogroup
the
was traced
father.
over there. Y'all making up excuse with him.
We wouldn't believe a test that said you are the father.
Man, I believe what I see.
No,
with
y'all
my
make up
eyes, too,
something.
brother. If
I
you
literally
look at
talked to an
African,
Aboriginal that say he doesn't
physically
believe
don't.
tests like that.
We
They
don't.
don't believe in the genealogy part of it when it's trying to say, oh, you came from this region and that region and that region. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about when I take a test because somebody think they might be related to me and whoever that relative is already passed on had already alive. So we go take a test to see if we are related. And we'll come back if we're related or not related.
Yeah, the centimorgans. So when you the way when I'm finding cousins on Ancestry, a lot of it's through the DNA because of the centimorgans. Hey, you got this many centimorgans with this person, got that many centimorgans with that person. So European and black people are popping up on mine. There's more white tea people popping on my father's side. You know what I'm saying? Because they come through like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana area, or whatever. So that's that Creole area. So you're having a lot of white tea people pop up over there.
Stop.
But on my mother's side, you know, it's bunch of Africans popping up.
A
Yeah,
bunch of
mine-
You know,
Africans.
even
Hey,
in Sooty.
I'm not going back further than that. I'm not going back further.
That's to the
Hold on.
1700s.
Let me
Where
say
are you going to trace? What family you going to trace back to like the 14,
Let me say this.
1500s? One conscious.
Stop.
Unconsciousness.
Stop,
Tell me about your family
stop,
genealogy.
stop. Let me
And
say
just give me the
I
name.
traced to the
For a
13,
minute. Let me
1400s.
talk.
One mic,
I can
y'all.
trace mine back to the 1800s with names, though. Real talk. So
I can trace it back before you. That's the
Yeah,
1700s.
but
I'm
what
tracing mine back.
what I'm talking about is the history. I'm talking about the history of what was going on. You feel me? Like you ain't actually going back far enough.
I am going back. I'm going back further than you. You only tracing back to the 1800s. I'm
Nah,
tracing it
you
back to the
talking about my
17 and
family. You
1600s.
talking about my family. I'm talking about with laws. I'm talking about with things that was enacted. I'm talking about things.
But I'm giving
about
you
history.
That's
literal
last
people
person
though.
in building.
That's a
about
difference.
my
You can't do that.
I ain't talking. I'm not giving you nothing personal. I'm not talking about nothing personal, bro.
We
I'm
got
talking
both.
about a general fact.
Lloyd.
That's it. I don't talk
I'm
about
giving you an
that
actual
personal
African
opinion.
though. So
I try to leave
what
that
can
to the wayside because that's where people get confused. That I try to keep it on the. Let's talk about what's in books. It's all.
No, you trying to make some laws and talk some more stuff. I'm giving you a physical person that's an African that was wrote in Arabic, that was a scholar, that comes from a
You
royal
got them
family
Arab.
over
Oh
there.
my
Hold
fucking
on, what
God.
Yeah.
You got them Arab.
So Uncle Ruckus,
No, Muslim. You don't have
was
to be
the
Arab
Native
to
Americans of Trinidad?
be Muslim.
Did you
Be
read the
Arabic.
book?
This man Muslim. Oh, he started talking about religion. I'm talking about.
One mic.
So we
One
ain't
mic,
Slow
y'all.
Nobody's talking about that.
So we're not talking about religion. I told you, I screenshotted a book I told you to read. Did you go read the book and find out who was the Native Americans of Trinidad?
No, I don't remember you ever
On
presenting
the
that.
record. On the record. So you don't know who Hernan Cortez said was the Native Americans of Trinidad?
Or the Taino people?
No.
Or Arawak?
Nope. That was Columbus. That
But
found
what does
Arawak.
Trinidad got to do with us, though?
That, sir, you said the Americas. I'm giving an example.
But what does it have to do with North America and the Deep South?
Because the people from the islands went from North and South America. People traveled on boats. White people did not invent travel on boats across the ocean.
That doesn't make sense. The Gulf is dangerous as hell. The Gulf is you know how
The
many
Gulf-
hurricanes
yet
and all that
they
type of stuff that's coming through the
somehow-
Gulf?
And yet they somehow
Sir.
traveled it plenty.
Exactly.
So
I want to say this. Even the dude Ponce de Leon that they say was from Spain, he's from Venezuela, and I have that receipt.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Ortiz.
1 second, y'all. 1 second. Dude,
I'll pull it up.
1 second. Why I typed this in the origins of the food? I told you he's a goddamn Arab. Leroy, Uncle Ruckus. This is a big
Uncle
word of
Ruckus
fool.
was anti-African.
And guess what? You gotta be anti-African. Your folks originated in the Middle East. So Ibrahim Suri, you got them half Arab.
Yeah, but they didn't. They originated in like the Senegambia area, actually. Like right there
no,
on
they
the
didn't.
coast, and they
No,
migrated.
don't nobody believe that. No.
So those little fake stories that people put out, even included a lot of them, like they're
I
from
got
Africa.
another question for you. Do you know what place was named as the first original Africa?
Northern Africa, and then we're not even attributed to the whole continent, but
What,
Northern
no?
Africa with
Okay.
where the
What year was that?
Roman Empire. This was in the BC area when they were calling it that.
No.
Afrique or Afrikia.
I said Africa.
That's the same thing as Afrikia. We're pronouncing it different, but it's Afrikia or Afrique.
You have a source to pull up that shows it was called Afrikia in BC.
Scipio Africanus, when he conquered it, right? He adopted, like his brother
What
has the last name
year?
Asiaticus.
What year or
They were
decade?
added onto their
What century?
within their title. It was like
What
a
century?
title when they conquered these lands.
What century was this?
Let me see a Scipio, because that was the Punic War. So this is like, what was it, like
It was something
300 BC? Let me see.
You have, but
It
yeah,
was the indigenous
Uncle
people
Ruckus.
of that land.
But why does Uncle Ruckus have no Central West African ties? Why is his ancestor half Fula, half Moorish? So North African and because the houses said the Fula ain't even from there. Like they not from there. That's why they call them the Fulade. They gave them that. The Hausa gave them that name because they're not from there. They said they came down south from North Africa.
Hey,
Even
y'all-
even
y'all-
when we talk about the native,
Hold
we
on,
got
it's
to
on
understand.
OG. Hold on, it's on OG. It's on OG.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you. I just wanted to say real quick, y'all see what my screen say. So allegedly, right, there was people in Nigeria that wanted to support Burkina Faso that was organizing a Pan-African rally, and Nigeria was like, "Oh hell nah," and they arrested them. So if it's all Pan-African this, Pan-African that, we Nigerians and stuff like that, then why did these supporters get arrested for trying to support Burkina Faso and having a Pan-African rally?
He's the same as the FBA and Aboriginals. So
Oh,
we have to put
now-
him in that.
now
Like y'all
you
act
got
like
here
them
that-
people
now you
can't
Oh, he's
exist.
an FNA now. He's an FNA.
Y'all the same.
Yeah, they sell out. They sell out. The people
Screenshot
like
this,
y'all doing.
y'all.
Y'all deny y'all African ancestry.
Screenshot this.
He over there.
Selling out
He's
who?
in cahoots with European
Hold on. Why did
businessmen.
Why did y'all lead never go to Africa, Leroy?
Leave. It is people that live in Africa. What you talking about?
No, why did Marcus Garvey never live in Africa? Why
The FBI and all them arrested him for this whole
Why he know-
I mean,
why-
going back
why-
to Africa thing.
why did he unalive in London of all places?
You say, what did he get unalive in London?
Yeah, why did he live? The
I
rest
mean,
of his life
because
in London?
they stopped his movement. Like we know that J. Edgar Hoover stopped it. Like I could pull
Why
up. You want me to pull up the FBI files off of the FBI website against Marcus Garvey?
they stopped his movement, but why did he go to where? Why did he take himself over there?
Marcus Garvey passed away from a broken heart, brother.
But instead of risking the rest of his life in Africa, he decides to live the rest of his life in London.
Do you want me to send you the Do you want me to send you the FBI files on it?
I already heard about the shit. I'm trying to ask, why did he take his broken heart to Africa instead of unaliving in London, of all places?
Yeah.
Do you want me to send you the FBI files?
No. I don't need it.
no.
I'm asking you a question. Why did he live the rest of his life in London?
I don't know. What does that got to do with the price of tea in China? I don't know how to answer that.
What is that? So
you know how to answer a question.
You know how to answer a question. Like, why do you think he didn't get
You being very
facetious, silly question?
It's not facetious at all.
Y'all just be
Not
using
you, Denver,
words.
Darby,
Y'all
the
be
other
using
man.
words and don't even know
Uncle
how to
Leroy
answer
being
words.
facetious. Because he know what you're talking about. So if Marcus Garvey wanted everybody that was American from the North Central South Americas, right in the outlying islands, he wanted everybody to go to Africa. When he had the opportunity to go to Africa, he did not go because he was in London. He passed away. So he had all the opportunities.
It was
in the world
people
to go
like
to
you that
Spain,
foiled
and
his
he couldn't
plan.
swim
Agents
across.
like
It was only
FBA
2
and
miles.
Aboriginals that did that.
Well, so why are you talking to agents, Leroy?
Yeah,
Why are you
and I'm
talking?
trying to figure out exactly who is he, because
Maybe to get y'all off the payroll.
because
Where's-
Nigeria is saying
Maybe
they
get
don't
us
F
off.
with y'all. They don't F with y'all. So why are y'all like all up in they sauce when they saying leave them alone, we don't F with y'all?
Who is that? They they were supporting Burkina Faso. This says nothing about African Americans and Nigerians.
Listen.
Does it? No, read your own prompt.
Go read exactly. I'm about to explain it to you. So what happened was it was supporters of Burkina Faso that that was in Nigeria, and they was trying to have a Pan-African rally, like oh, we're all together, like we're all gonna do this, like Pan-African. But they said they're not effing. But they said they're not effing with that, to leave them alone with that, and they arrested the people.
These are native Nigerians that were forming the records. They're doing different ones in different countries, brother. These weren't African Americans or Black Americans that went over there that are Pan-African that went and started. Why do you keep talking over me? It wasn't no Black Americans that were over there organizing the rallies. These were native Nigerians that were organizing the rallies.
Right, exactly. But he does not F with Pan-Africanism.
Because he's getting paid off by the corporations, especially the people that deal with oil, that try to move a pipeline through that region of the Sahel up into the Mediterranean for the British interests and everybody else that's getting oil. They provide oil to Europe and Britain and stuff like that. If they're having a problem in the Sahel where these folks gonna get taxed for that and all that, they feel like that's messing up their interests or whatnot. Which, I mean, they could just ship it around the Atlantic, but they want to build that pipeline up there. So he's dealing with British Petroleum and all this other stuff. So they're paying him money to stop that stuff.
You just capped out.
You just capped out.
I mean, that's obviously what it is. Like, I don't know why you think like it's no other reason that they're doing that. It's some type of interest involved, and it's business interest. They feel like they're messing up their money.
But they're all together. It's all Pan-Africanism. We're all one, right?
No, it's never been like that. It's not a utopia. Pan-African is not some magic utopia that is. We trying to get the colonizer off of our neck, and we can deal independently from them. She need to get put down for cussing.
They used to be buddy buddy.
And what you say, Larry? What you gonna say, Uncle
Ruckus? Not how it works. Well, why you letting that woman cuss on here like that?
Cause that's my kin. That's my cousin. So what?
Hey, but I agree with you when you say they got to get the colonizers off their neck, because we got to understand the whole of Africa been colonized for a long time. So it's Like, come on, cuz. Like, be real, bro. We more free over here than they ever been over there for a long time.
Bro, I
Even
just seen
back
the
in the
unalive
Egyptian
video
days,
by the police.
even back in the Egyptian days,
Oh,
in the
brother.
ancient time, they were colonized. In the ancient time, they were colonized, bro.
Let y'all not pay y'all child support. Y'all going to jail.
How
They put
many
you in
how many
jail for
Af-
anything over here.
how many Africans?
You ain't got to
Yeah,
worry about that.
how many Africans you know been arrested?
Boy,
You,
it works.
you ain't
It's
gotta
worse
you ain't
out
gotta
there.
worry
You will
about
still
that.
get stoned. You will
No,
still
no,
get
I don't
stoned in the
I
street.
don't gotta worry about going to jail for not
I ain't
paying
gotta worry about going to jail either.
child support in Burkina Faso and stuff like that. They don't have laws like that.
I'm
Or
not on
getting a
child
bunch of
support.
parking tickets and going to jail.
I mean, I'm surprised you. I'm not surprised you ain't got to worry about child support. Y'all Pan Africans be incels, so
Y'all, no. You so used to living in your oppression, you think it's normal.
so
You
listen.
know, it's like being in a prison for life.
You the only one that's up here oppressed. You over here going so hard for people that never thought about you, that cared about you. They ain't never come back to get you. They came here and said, "I'm here for myself." They
No,
don't
I'm
give
going
two
hard
F's
for my
about you.
history. I'm
Your
going hard
history.
for my history.
Your
You going
history.
hard for
My
your
history
history?
is that we came from the enslaved Africans.
Are you in the school?
And we're African
hold on.
American.
Here's another one, Uncle Ruckus. I know you always be working in the other FBA. Why we evolved before them?
You say what?
Why did we evolve before them? If we came from them, why they wasn't evolving at the same time? And don't say
What you
it's
talking
because
about?
they
They
was
had
being
they had
colonized.
iron
Don't say it was
smelting.
because they was being oppressed.
They had
We all being
iron
oppressed and
smelting.
colonized. Hold on,
They
I'm not done my point. I'm not done my question. They were all being colonized just like us. They was all being oppressed just like us. They was all at WAR just like us.
I got you.
Because the alphabet boys, the alphabet boys who put these things in place goes over and destabilizes countries like they did
That's not what I
Libya,
asked.
like they
That's
did.
not
See,
what
I
I
have no
asked,
doubt. I'm
Uncle
trying to
Ruckus.
explain to you
No,
the process of this state. No, because you're going by technology.
We all been in
You're going by
You're not making
technology.
sense. Answer the question.
You live in a country
Okay,
that
let me be
sends
more
agents
specific.
over there to
Let me
destabilize
be more specific. Through all those agencies of destabilization, we have created over 50,000 inventions. Over. If you research it, Africans are only responsible in recent years for barely maybe about 20 inventions total throughout the whole continent. Might be 30 if I want to be nice about it. Any other inventions that is credited to them is from ancient Egyptians. While we were over here still creating during our oppression and
That's
destabilization.
not
So
true.
why?
In order for you to even invent these
That
things,
is true.
hold on, because you gotta let me land. You gotta let me land now, sister. In order for you to invent these things, if Africa never had an iron smelting age, you would not be inventing these things right now because they came up with iron smelting. It was developed in Africa first, then spread throughout the world. Without that, and that's why one of the reasons why Native Americans they failed to the Europeans because they didn't have iron and they didn't have gunpowder.
That's a lie. That right there.
That's not true either.
There's a lie.
Yeah, that's not true either.
Because they said there were Africans that came here to trade with them, and they had iron or steel tip.
And I don't believe
so
that
what are you
story.
talking about?
And I don't believe that story.
You don't believe
Look, right here. The oldest primitive
right here
find is in California.
And
They're
look,
flint.
right here,
They're not
they
iron.
hold on, real quick. They was finding meteorite iron inside the mounds. Hold on, let me put up another. They was finding meteorite iron inside the mound. So literally, you're alive. And I would like to just go ahead and just
I can post my
hold on. Yeah. Well, I can pull up actual. That's just a quick screenshot because I caught him on the live talking about that earlier. But I can go pull up actual citations or websites and stuff. But anyway, so I'm gonna wait till you get back. Come back to the screen.
Oh, brother.
Oh shoot! I want to say this right here. If you are African,
I can hear you. Just read it. I can
No.
Looking stuff up. Just read it.
African, you have no interest in the land.
Because I want you to answer the question.
Hold on, Chris. What you say?
You're African,
Yeah,
And right, I don't care what kind of African he is, right? He got it anywhere in your name, anywhere. Yeah, right. But how
his
about this
ancestors
right
half
here?
Arab, half Moorish.
You don't have no interest in my land in America, so your conversations is mute and pointless. Because why you're not even from here? You're an immigrant. You can't come talk to no Americans nothing about America. You immigrant. Immigrant.
Did you find any land patents or land allotments assigned to any of your family members?
No,
Who was that country lady talking?
Okay.
I just came back on the screen.
Hey, why? Who's that country? It's Crystal. Her name Crystal.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, tell her to stop saying.
Why y'all so sad? Why y'all be so sassy?
He's so.
They came up. She just said all that rude stuff.
One mic. Hold on, one mic. Why y'all be so sassy towards women? Yeah.
What are you talking about? If you go to say rude stuff and you can't take the debate, you don't need to be debating me. Fadi she's been respectful. She's been respectful.
No, Crystal
just said a bunch of disrespectful.
What's wrong with being country, cuz?
Nothing disrespectful.
What's wrong with being country, cuz?
Hold on. She made a good point. You saying you African meaning you have no ties to this land. You have no claim to
No,
this
but
land.
that doesn't mean that, Fadi.
No, I'm not saying you.
I'm a
don't have no
foundational African
representation.
American.
Okay, sir. So
I'm saying I'm a foundational. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Uncle Ruckus, did you find any land patents or land allotments for your family?
I know my folks in Georgia.
That's not
having
answering the
some
question.
Land, but no, I didn't find none personally. Stop! I'm talking to her. I'm not talking to you, bro. Like when you her.
Okay. So, right here, right, we have the amount of ancestors that you would have within 400 years, right? So allegedly, right, they say, oh, y'all came over here 400 years ago. So you would have 4,094 ancestors, right, within the last 400 years. So mind you, y'all, they brought allegedly 388,000 African slaves here. So if you take 100 Black Americans, right, and you trace all of their ancestors back 400 years ago, you would have over 400,000 people alone just from 100 Black Americans. So, and it's over 50. Hold on. Let me finish. And it's over 50 million of us. So literally just 100 of us would debunk the slave trade because there's not enough people for because they like to say, oh, you're gonna find one African ancestor. No, we should find 4,094 African ancestors, each one of us, if we all come from Africa and all of our ancestors African. Y'all don't make any sense when y'all be saying you're African or when we came over on the slave ships, we didn't come over here. It was people allegedly. I we can literally just end this with numbers because y'all cannot explain the amount of ancestors that everybody would have and how the database for the slave trade does not equate to the amount of ancestors that each person had.
Hold on. Let me, because he
They
directed that to
actually
me.
kind of debunked that recently and changed the numbers to less than 100,000 came to North America.
That never happened, and all of us didn't come over here 400 years ago. It was very few. The country was just getting started or whatnot. They were on the East Coast or whatnot, and a lot of those people went down to like Brazil and South America. A lot of our ancestors came over within the 200-year marker in the 1700s because that was the height of the slave trade.
And I want to say this. Because I ain't spoken.
But let's get back to this.
Hold on, one mic on left. Oh, one mic on left footed. Yeah.
And I want to say this.
He moved the goalpost. He moved the goalpost because we were just talking about iron smelting, and he went over to this.
You can't show us a slave manifest with your African ancestors on it. Okay, point two, you can't tell us the year your Africans came to America. And point three, you can't even tell us the tribe your Africans come from.
I just did that. I don't know, you weren't listening or you had wax in your ears, brother, but I just did that, and that's why they calling me Arab on here. But anywho, so we're going back to the iron smelting, right? So hold on.
Half Moorish, half Arab. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So look, so check this out. So he's saying, oh, he's showing iron ore and all that. sir, that doesn't mean it was smelted. That doesn't mean it had anything to smelt the iron with. Oven powerful enough to
Right.
smelt the iron
And
with.
and and,
So
and,
you
and
weren't
what you're
smelting
saying,
iron.
and what
Now,
you're saying also doesn't mean that they didn't.
Prove it.
You,
no,
like
no, you didn't
exactly,
show me
exactly.
anything. I can show you. I can show you a picture of Africans still using the ancient the
You proved
ancient
they did.
technique of
You
smelting
proved
iron.
that the Indians did.
Okay, so for this moment,
I got it. I got the article
hold
right
on,
here.
wait a minute. So for this moment, I am going to bring in religion as well as history because they did not invent smelting. White people is not credited for teaching our people smelting. We have blacksmiths. Africa, Egypt, everybody had blacksmiths. How was they going to WAR with swords if they didn't know how to smelt?
Because they learned it through trade and different things.
Oh,
So
my
they
goodness.
learned how to do this through trade and humans migrating and stuff like that. That's how this stuff spreads around the world. Now y'all did work with copper, but copper's soft. I work with copper.
Uncle Roger,
Very
you
soft.
can't be serious. You cannot be serious right now.
But iron, you weren't doing nothing with a sword versus your flint spears that you were throwing at white tea people when they were coming over here.
I wasn't throwing nothing. I got nothing to do with
Yeah, y'all.
Somebody was way,
According to y'all,
way advanced than you talking about.
it'll be
Mariah.
your ancestors
Whatever.
So tell
throwing
me this,
flint
Uncle Roger.
spears at
Tell
them.
me this,
Our
Uncle
our
Roger.
society was way more advanced, right? How about that? So,
Who
so what
caused
Christopher
all those
Columbus
things?
took y'all down in like one.
Shut up for one
No,
second,
he
please.
didn't.
Let me speak.
Columbus didn't
Hold
even
on,
set
there's too
foot
many
on the
mics
land,
going off.
idiot.
Yo, it's too. Hold on, 1 second. It's too many mics going off. Go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so I took my children to Poverty Point last year, right? And Poverty Point is in the World Historical Sites as the one of the oldest man-made, handmade structures in the world, right? Western Break being the oldest, and then Poverty Point being right behind it. Okay, so they said we ain't had no concrete and shit, right? So my son, being the Capricorn he is, who don't follow rules, you know, they do what they do, right? He went down the side of the mound, not the steps that they have made for you to go up, right? They got a set of steps that they made. My son went down the side of the steps. Tell me why they concrete. Tell me why they concrete. And Poverty Point, the one of the world's oldest man-made structures, and they said we ain't had no concrete. And I got the video proof that it's concrete steps going down the side, and there's a door that had metal on it. World
Yes,
oldest
man.
man-made structure, Poverty Point, Louisiana. Hello.
And that man said the country just started. What?
What?
Serious? That man said the country had just started. When he said that, I was flabbergasted. Brother, we got so much ancient stuff out going on out here. We got stuff going on in America that's older than stuff in Egypt. You tripping, brother.
And I got a question. How did we build longhouses without using any metal?
Carve those stone statues all through DC. If you go through downtown DC, where all the government and presidential and Congress buildings are, there is so many carvings in stone. I don't even know what kind of stone that is. Let's start off there.
Right.
But who carved them to that detailed precision? Them things ain't got a chip, crack, nothing in them. They not
Cool.
made from clay or anything.
Correct. And then I have a picture of one of the buildings in
Ah,
DC,
dude, come on.
and they have that sign that the mustache man, the swah, the building in DC has that on the side of it. So I'm like, why would this be on the side of it if it doesn't have nothing to do with us?
That's supposed to be a symbolism of prosperity and something like that was stolen and used, and now it got a negative connotation around it, but it wasn't. Ancient understand it was supposed to be negative.
Mm. Oh man, people
What
was
happened? That's what happened when the enemy get
my
your
bad,
way.
we were enslaved by African people. What? Oh, my bad. I'm reading StreamYard comment. My ancestors were enslaved by African people. Ah, hmm. That's interesting. Not the Roanoke. Huh?
You know what? It's 2025. Can y'all stop being vague and saying that your grandmama was kidnapped by the whole continent? Y'all sound real facetious when you continent. Which country was it? Which neighborhood, country, zip code? What zip code did your grandma come from? 'Cause we got a zip code that we live at. What zip code? What area code? 919 over here. What where they from?
I don't know.
If a lot of people like when bro said earlier, my fault, Chris, go on here.
Why is
No,
the
I'm
majority of
saying
the Aboriginals country? They like country. They ain't like
What you think country mean? Hold on. What you think country mean?
Hold on.
What you think? Hold on. No. Hold on, dude. Like, what do you think country mean, dude? Like, what? What do you think they doing in the country, Leroy?
I'm just asking, bro.
What do you think they doing in the country?
Shows like where the education shift is versus like
Man,
being
you
in certain
educated
places
bourgeois.
in the
You
rural South.
educated bourgeois. Like, get that bourgeois elitism out of there. I bet you they know
You
how
from
to.
Virginia? That's where all the
Hey,
content.
I'm from Baltimore. I'm not from Virginia. I'm from Baltimore, nigga.
I can explain.
You from Baltimore?
I'm from Memphis,
Virginia.
I spent half my life in Mississippi.
I can go. I'm a what?
A matter of fact, they had slavery in Baltimore.
It was
Eastern
more.
Seaboard guy.
It was more free people of color than enslaved people in Baltimore since its inception.
Frederick Douglass is from Maryland, though, fam.
Yeah, and guess what? He ain't no fucking African. What that got to do with me? Like, I'm not related to Frederick Douglass. Yo, lying
Umar
ass.
Johnson
No, the fuck he not.
Can you answer me that? Why did Jesse Jackson become a Native American? Oh wait, I got one question. Why did Jesse Jackson become a Native American after pushing so hard for all of us to become African American?
You said what?
Why did Jesse Jackson become a Native American after he pushed so hard and campaigned for all of us to identify as African Americans?
I don't believe he became a Native American. Like I don't believe that.
What you mean? He got his Cherokee card. What you mean?
He got his tribal citizenship.
Thank you.
Not
What's up,
long
Brad?
after we all started calling ourselves African Americans.
What's up, Darby? Robert, I'm going to start talking shit.
Number one, they wasn't never on our side.
Hey, bro, I'm not gonna lie. This is the most
but I'm
thing you could have
noticing.
asked.
I'm
was
noticing
asking
where a lot of the
why-
Aboriginals are at.
Why the South sound like that, or why most of the tribes? And that means you know nothing about none of the Southern tribes. You know
So
nothing
you
about
talking about
the
these are my
culture.
education level. You can't even wrap your head
You know
around
nothing
us
about
being
none of that.
Exactly, especially when you talk about the way we talk, because understand the way we talk, it's like we still fresh to learning English, like colonized language.
But even to say something about Baltimore, like, look, I was born in Chicago.
I'm from the
right?
Midwest. People say I sound country.
Bro,
You know what I'm
you from the
saying? So-
Midwest and you got the nerve to say something that ignorant. First off, I'm from Chicago. I was born in Chicago, bro. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now. But guess what that area used to be?
Yeah, but did you grow
Louisiana.
up in Chicago? though?
Louisiana.
Did you grow up in Chicago?
He's saying
And
why is
that
all
doesn't
of
matter. That's not what the point.
It
What I'm
don't matter
saying.
where you born.
he's trying to say that to try to basically give the narrative of
I
if
know
we're the
what he's saying.
Aboriginals, why are we not spread all across America and not concentrated so heavily in the South? And the answer to your question, sir, is the best of the land is where all those mostly all white, if not all white people live. Where they have their towns to themselves. They got their 40 acres of land in those lands.
It's also
to
funny.
us over here.
It's also funny because when you talk about like country hick YT people, they're not in the South, the East, the Southeast. They're like on the West, Southern West, or in the Midwest, in the start, like in the South.
Bro,
and the
they in
Midwest. They're
Tennessee,
not in this
Tennessee
area,
and West
bro.
Virginia, fam.
Tennessee,
They all up in
Tennessee,
there.
and West Virginia is two different areas of the country.
They
Slow-mo.
still Hicks. Kentucky, all that.
Bro, you're not thinking nothing through. You're not having a comprehension. on
But
it.
I
It's coming
noticed
out
like
your mouth.
the education
It's just-
level of
no,
people in
no,
different
that's-
parts of the.
That doesn't
you
make
know.
any sense, bro. That don't make
Nah,
no
our
sense. I've
education
lived
don't
in
have
both,
nothing to
bro.
do
So
with
for
our-
you to
with
talk
our-
shit right now don't make no sense. Because
Yeah.
your great grandmother or somebody else is from the South, so she was ignorant as hell and off the boat and
Left
in
the South.
chains.
They got the hell out of there and came up where the jobs and the education was better.
No,
Nah,
they came.
brother.
That's industrial revolution. Is why they went to the Midwest and went up
And
north.
they went
That's
to
the only
college and
reason. It
became
ain't got
college
nothing to do with
educated and
schooling.
stuff.
Where's the top schools in the country, bro?
And then the other ones left
Where's the
because
top
they
colleges in the
was
country,
rebels
bro?
that they
Where are
had to
the
leave
top
because
colleges in the country, bro?
the Klan was trying
Where
to
are
unalive
the
them because they was
current
beating up on
top colleges in the country, bro? Where they at?
them. I mean, you got North Carolina now, but back
Don't now.
then,
You can't
no,
now.
no, it
You
was
can't
Buck Country
now.
down
When
there.
was these schools made? When did Princeton come out? When did UNC
So when
start?
you see a
When
lot
did
of the
when did
major black
when did these
movements,
schools
they
become
was in the North,
schools?
bro.
They was not.
They was in the North, and that's why a lot of y'all like
Name a
because y'all
northern
around
school.
those
Name a
southern
northern school right now.
southern white
Name a
tea
northern
Christians and
college
stuff
right
like
now
that.
that's renowned. Name a
No, the southern.
renowned
Let me say
northern
this:
college.
the
Name
southern white tea
one.
Christian
Name
movement and
one
evangelical
renowned
movement
college
kind of
in
had
the
the
north
black
right
people
now.
envelope down there.
He can't name nothing, bro. He's just talking just to be
Hey,
talking.
brother,
Because you
hold on.
talking over
Let
me,
me
fam.
talk, cause I think I'm probably the only one that's on this panel that's from the South. I don't know, cuz, but I'm actually from the South, cuz. Like I spent half my life in Mississippi. I'm from Memphis, cuz. I'm in Arkansas right now. If that's the mid South or whatever you want to consider it. I'm down here. I used to be in Louisiana all the time. I got family in Florida, Atlanta, all that. Cause what you're talking about, you have to understand it goes back in what we talking about when we speaking on indigenous people. So if you follow your lineage, if you follow your last name and see where your last name leads you to, legally documented, and then you go research what tribe was in that area at that time, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be figuring out where you actually that's where you were before your name was changed into whatever name the YT people decided to give you. That's where you was at. You feel me?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The
Going on.
last
Hold
name
up, hold up,
narrative
hold
is
up,
nonsense too, bro.
hold up. But
That's nonsense too. Your
outside of
last name
that,
is your
outside
last
of
name.
that, if you follow a lot of tribe, you will see that it's a lot of tribal activity in the South. We got the Mississippi, like we was just talking about the pyramid, that's in Louisiana. So it was a lot of ancient tribal stuff going on in the
Andrew
South.
Jackson beat
Hold
them
up,
folks
Pee my
up.
drip, so I
They
can
beat
land
them
my
up and they
plane and
pushed
let
them
y'all
off to
talk. Hold
Oklahoma.
up, Pee my drip, so I can land my plane and let y'all talk, brother. So it was a lot of tribal activity going on in the South before colonization. That was a major hub of this land. That didn't change. Colonization just changed. So a lot of people that went up to North, they subscribed to a system that wasn't even for the indigenous or the native people of this land or whoever would you subscribe to being here. It wasn't for us, cuz. It wasn't for us, cuz.
But also look
came and
to
created the
kill
system,
to knock off that
Andrew
noise, bro.
Jackson
Hold,
pushed them Native Americans out of there, fam.
wait, bro.
He pushed
Just
them
to
out
knock
of there,
off a
and
lot
the
of
Native
this, right?
Americans took their slaves with them.
No, cuz we ain't talking about no lies.
If you paying attention to the what is it the Louisiana Purchase, what region of the country was Louisiana? When you look at Mississippi, what region, bro? I'm not asking you a direct question to need you to answer. What regions was Mississippi before it became a state? These are not state. When you first hear about them historically, they're not talking about the states that you see on the map right now. They're talking about regions of the country. Louisiana stretched all the way up through the Midwest into Chicago. All that was a part of Louisiana. So when you historically hear about Louisiana or Mississippi, they're talking about regions. They're not talking about the state that you think about. That's what makes it ignorant for you to come and say something about the South like that, because it doesn't make any sense for you to do that. You're literally talking about the same area that you live in right now.
No, y'all weren't allowed to read down there for a long time.
Can I speak now?
To ask the brother a question.
Hey, how y'all doing? That some of that region was also part of West Florida, Bumfuck, where Queen Chief Warhorse is actually getting back some of her land now to this day, because she has done her research and got her records from land patents from Spain. So it is all about who you related to when it comes to America, right?
I heard one of the young brothers saying something about um you know, kept saying we and we. Well, we don't speak in we because I don't know if we're related, but I do know who I am related to. I found a lot of people, you know, that I'm related to that are related to the same people and tribes like this. Can I share the screen, please, cousin? This ancestor is one of our Powhatan ancestors that's related to Chief Powhatan. And he was born in 1389 in Kanawha Indian lands. If you research where Kanawha Indian lands is modern day West Virginia.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So, you know, we try not to, you know, done your lineage. I don't know who you're related to, but I know who I'm related to. And this ancestor is from Algonquin speaking Powhatan tribe. He's a chief Wansanuk, great grandfather, right? Born in 1389, which is way before Columbus went to Hispaniola, because Columbus never stepped foot in North America. He stopped at Hispaniola, which is Haiti and Dominican Republic. That's where he stopped at.
Yeah, but that man doesn't look black though. He doesn't look black at all.
What does black? We have melanated people that were here.
He looks like
I'm not
That's
black.
clearly a
All my-
depiction,
wait a
so
minute,
don't even
excuse
do
me.
that.
All my
He
ID,
looks,
wait a
bro.
minute.
That
All
is
my
not a
ID
freaking
says
picture.
American Indian. So do you know that if you look at any old paintings in they depicted melanated Powhatan. Chief Powhatan is very dark complected. Let me put his picture up here. Hold on, we got statues.
Look, sis.
He is
Yeah, but
very,
that man isn't dark complected though.
Wait a minute. So I'm not black. I'm not black.
None of us are, but yeah.
You know, but I'm saying,
Y'all don't want to be black.
I'm
Y'all
one of
want
the
to be African.
Negro, are you the color of
people-
your screen?
Wait a minute. I'm one of the copper colored people that were already here, right?
Ma'am, I'm looking at you. You're not copper colored.
I am tawny. I am tawny, and copper comes in several different shades. From bright,
With copper. I work
from
with copper.
bright,
It come in one shade.
the new copper looks like bright red penny, right? Like a bright red penny. And what does the color of your
That's
skin have to
polished.
do
That's
with
when you
your
polish.
bloodline? See, I'm
So
talking
when you
about blood.
polish
Wait a
it-
minute. Can you mute your mic? Because I did not come off my mic one time while you had a long soliloquy. Okay? Mute your mic, sir, please. And thank you. Because I wasn't rude to you. And I'm putting my family up here, not no Googling whatever you're Googling and putting up as that's not a primary source, as a matter of fact, either. So my primary source is my family, right? So, okay, this tree, you see how dark complected, how they got Chief Powhatan, Pocahontas' father. We have several, just like they changed the Redskins, the Washington Redskins. Why? Because the natives was mad because none of them looked like any of the ancient American Indians that was depicted here in the Americas. Number one. And it's just not my only bloodline that's Indian, okay? Because all four of my great-grandparents are American Indian, okay?
Sis, I got a question. Well, not even a question, really a statement. We related by marriage. He's in my bloodline. That's all. Powhatan's is on my bloodline too.
Okay, so
On my father's side.
I just found
So
another cousin.
I can pull it up and show you, but I'm gonna add you real quick. Hold on.
Okay, add me.
Sister,
because-
do you see that man on my screen?
Wait a minute. We were having a little a little change discourse.
Because you trying to make all Native Americans look real
I'm not.
light,
I didn't
but look
never
at
say
this
I was
guy
Native
right here.
American, sir. Never
But-
once. Even the
but
National
he's copper colored.
Museum,
That's
the
a copper
National,
colored guy.
the National Museum don't say the Native American Museum, because I just went to it in DC. It says the National Museum for the American Indian.
What's up, Dina?
That's what I am. Okay. So
Okay, this man is American Indian. He's American
okay, well,
Indian.
so is
He's
my
red.
great
He's
grandmother.
reddish brown.
This right here, if you look at my screen, this is one of my great grandmothers, and she's a Wadey. And people that know anything about genealogy and the chiefs of the Cherokee being named Wadey, okay. All right. So if you look at this, it says she was born in Indian Territory in Virginia when the Dawes Commission forced Native Americans to cede their land. Now I'm gonna show you where she's in Oklahoma, full Cherokee by blood. And that's my mother's father's mother. Okay. So hold on. When it comes to me and we talk history, I talk about how I'm related to certain people and how I can tie myself to these people, right? So let me go back to my grandmother's grandmother being on the Dawes rolls as full Cherokee by blood, right? Hold on just a second. So I have several tribes. I have several tribes from all four grandparents. Online when somebody that don't even have a family tree or the family story of being indigenous, how they try to debunk somebody. Okay, this is another picture of her. Try to debunk somebody, and this is my grandma. She an Indian. Okay? I grew up with this American Indian. I'm gonna mute my mic, but I'm gonna be putting up.
He's gone.
Okay.
Nice. Leroy Fine is just the boss here. His guy, that goddamn air.
Why you did start showing the genealogy?
That's what they all do.
I have a question for her.
Y'all be like, but what you say, Vanessa?
Yeah, hello. I have a question for her. The one that was just speaking. I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I don't want to upset her.
Well, what's up? What's your question?
Yeah, so the question is, what language do you speak? Can you tell us about your culture as you said you're a Cherokee Indian, right?
You see, Dewey Shoe, Dewey Cool. So that is Chosagi Cherokee for greetings. How are you? I am well. Okay. And another thing, we speak our language every day, ma'am. And my name is Davida, which is also an indigenous name. Okay. So this is from the Dawes rolls, my mother's grandmother. Okay. Lily Wadey. She was 16 years old, female, full up the top, right? That's her. And let me pull up the other thing. And let's talk about all the Algonquin words that we speak every day, ma'am, that are words that are indigenous, right? Did you know the first Bible that was brought here and written in my Algonquin language was the Elliott Bible, right? You could look that up as well. So we speak our language every day. Barbecue. I got Arawakon as well on my father's side, and I got proof of that, and I'll pull that up as well. Right?
Did you grow up in one of those Indian?
No, everybody didn't want to be on no reservation. We were free urban Indians that owned land, ma'am. We were farmers.
Yeah,
we
they were
didn't want to go
farmers.
on no daggone reservation. All of us didn't want to live on no reservation, ma'am.
No.
That's like a jail to us.
Well, if you-
Yeah, why
come
would
up
I
with a-
want to? Why would we want to leave our land
Did she leave on
that
her own?
we had land patents on
Yeah.
to live on? We're federally protected, not federally, you know what I'm saying, mandated.
Have y'all
I'm
noticed
federally
that they only
protected.
have one sequence of a blueprint of questioning, and that's it.
Yeah, it's the tired talking points. We have a brother that makes, you know, about tier A talking points. So here she is again, Lily Wadey. I crossed that out because I didn't want everybody to know, but I showed how she was living in Indian Territory in Virginia when the Dawes Commission came and made them cede their land. So you see, my record says that my great grandmother was full Cherokee by blood, just like my grandmother, who picture I showed, always told us, and she always kept our oral story and oral traditions. Yes, we sat Indian style while she told us about who we related to and who our clans are and who our tribes are and who our people are. So yeah, it's very disingenuous, especially when someone with an accent from another part of the world comes up here that don't have even genealogy of their own to show of who you are. I don't know who you and your people are, ma'am, and I would like to know who you and your people are, because you are now talking to people in their own homeland, right?
What's up,
We in
Shelly?
our own homeland. You know what I'm saying? It's very disingenuous when you ask me about what language do we speak. Do you know that I have records of? I'm just saying. I want everybody to hear this. I have records of some of my people being sent to Indian boarding schools, and unalive records of 9-year-old children. Okay. At Carlisle, some of my West Coast Indians that was related to my my Nez Perce, that was related to my Cherokee and Mohawk in Carlisle Industrial Indians Boarding School. And that's sad when and finding a real story of what really happened to Matoka, right? Because I'm related to her through the Patawomic, the Pamunkey, the Mattapanai, and the English side. I'm related to her on all four sides. Even her husband Cocoon is on my tree. Yeah, that's why I was saying to that young lady, because she didn't even even Davita. She was being disingenuous when she came up here with the same tired talking point questions. Let's pull up all the Algonquin words that we use every day, right? People don't know they be over here speaking our language and don't even know it and questioning us about our language. You can't make it up.
Peace, everybody.
What's up? What's up?
Peace.
Chilling. Yeah, I wanted to ask the homie, the one that was talking about the guns, because clearly they don't know how bad them bows and arrows were.
Oh yeah.
Because you ain't got to go too far into it. If you start in chronological order and you start in Florida, them goddamn nipple. So you know, I don't know how Shit, a bow and arrow, that's all you needed back then. You ain't need no damn gun. What you need a bow and arrow? What you need a gun for?
Sir, your bow and arrow wasn't doing nothing to a cannon, and none of y'all know how to shoot bow and arrows like
You
that,
gotta
so
get
I
a
can't
cannon over
attribute
here.
it to you, sir.
What year do you think all this stuff
Brother,
happened?
hold
They
on,
wasn't
you
working
gotta
with cannons like that back then.
wait. You
They had
gotta get a cannon over here first.
That's a fact.
Cannons weren't readily available. They had to
So,
travel to the
so
islands
by
to
the
go get
time,
one.
by the time,
Eventually-
by the lower way, by the
Eventually
time you load
what?
your musket, right? You know how many arrows
Eventually,
that already
the
hit you.
native, the Indians stopped. I want to say that the Indians stopped using the bow and arrows, and they was using the guns, and they started using them on each other. So that bow and arrow wasn't messing with that gun or that rifle.
No, it was.
Especially when they upgraded it.
It
That's
was
why you
only
seeing
it
the-
was only the tribes that was partnering with them, but you had tribes that wasn't fucking with it like that. Guns was used for close combat. But what about a nigga that gets sniped from 200 yards away? Come on, man, stop playing. Because if you look in Florida,
it don't matter, still-
bro, if you look in Florida, just start at Florida. Every time they tried to set up a colony, they got killed. Now tell me,
Unalive, y'all say
where the
unalive
fuck did
story.
the Indians go?
Well, the
Huh?
colony is set up
Y'all say
already.
unalive
So
sword.
eventually the
Oh, okay,
European
okay.
won. So the cities of
No,
St.
listen to chat, y'all.
Augustine and all these places are built.
That's
So
not
you,
true.
You got whooped.
That's
got
not
whooped.
true. That's not
No.
true.
No.
Well, it is. It's true. I can drive down to Florida
battle?
right now.
Paper
what
genocide
battle-
and actual
what
genocide
battle
is
did they
two different
lose?
things, bro. That's not
What
the same
Matter of
battle-
fact,
What
Doing
battle?
something on
Jackson,
paper and doing
Florida,
something physically is
Jacksonville,
not the
Florida
same.
is named after Andrew Jackson
No, it's not.
because he went there and he whooped y'all up. And
It's not
got
named
pushed
after
y'all
Andrew
out of there
Jackson.
to
You just
Texas
made that up.
and Oklahoma.
It's named after a judge. It's not. I'm not even gonna tell you his name. It's not named after Andrew
No,
Jackson.
tell
You
it
just
to
made
me
that
so I
up.
can be wrong.
You just made it up.
I ain't afraid to be wrong.
You just made that up.
We didn't lose. We just assimilated.
I can look it up. I can look it up and show you. I can show you.
We just assimilated.
gonna be wrong.
Everybody's still here.
No, y'all got whooped, and
Ain't
Florida
nobody
became
get
a
whooped.
state.
Hey, hold up.
Y'all got a
Ponce
white
de,
man
Ponce de
governing it
Leon
right
got
now.
shot in the rib. They sent his ass back to Puerto Rico. Diego Murillo came, got a piece of gold, and then he went back to the islands. Francisco Cordoba came, he got his ass killed. Who else came out?
Unalive.
My bad. Unalive.
Yeah, but
DeSoto,
you're not
DeSoto
doing
was
that
running
right
around.
now.
Hold
You're
on,
not
hold
doing
on.
that right now. Like
we
you
can run through
eventually
the
got,
we
you
can
eventually got
run through the
conquered.
names. We can run through the names. DeSoto was running around like Billy Badass for 4 years. He got unalive.
What is
Tristan-
your African American self doing right now?
Tristan DeLuna tried to come up on the Tampa
Hey, what's
side.
up,
He got
Lotto?
unalive. Like, what you talking about, dog? They was getting their ass murked, man. What you talking
If
about?
you won, y'all would not have got pushed out of Oklahoma. I mean, out of Florida into Oklahoma and Texas with the Seminoles.
That's not true.
Yes,
But they didn't. But they didn't get
put up a
whooped
good
though.
fight, but the
The
Spanish
Seminoles
were
was
helping
already
them
in
as
Florida,
well.
bro. So what
Spanish
Do
were
you
helping them.
do you know what happened outside of saying
Oh,
they
I
got
gotta
whooped?
reset the. Hold on. What's my bad, y'all? My bad. Yeah, it's too many trigger words. Drop some fruit, y'all. We about to take a music break. Music break time. It's too many trigger words that have been said, so gotta reset the panel. But yeah, we're going music break real quick. The Africans are dropping an Afrobeat song on us.
You're from Africa, nigga. You're from Africa, nigga. You're from Africa, nigga. Like it or not, you're from Africa, nigga. Just let me know. Nigeria, you're not from America. You look like an Igbo, and your DNA smells like a zero. They took you from the motherland. Now you think you're from another.
Yeah, I need to find this. I need to find this song.
I made it.
Oh, you
Y'all the greatest ghostwriter. Thanks.
Your names came from the white man. Your culture
Thank
is
you.
of the white man. You can't breathe without the white man. With the white man. You know we love the white man. You get
this is a rhetoric blueprint right here too.
Yeah, that's why I make the songs off their rhetoric. They like go to school, nigga. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't understand why y'all want to admit that y'all lost the war to the Europeans, man. Like,
you gotta say WAR. You can't say that, dude.
Hold on.
You say you
which,
can't
which,
say European?
Which
You
conflict?
can't say
Which WAR did was lost? Because Black Europeans fought in the American Revolutionary War. They fought in the French Indian Wars. They fought the battle. So which battle are you talking about?
If they fought, they were in
I actually I
enslaved. Can
said
I say
which
enslaved?
because Black Indian Wars. They fought the battle. So which battle?
Aboriginal Black Europeans.
Which so you mean
So
you
let's
mean
get
the
that straight.
POWs? You mean POWs?
He don't know. He has no clue.
No, but which
the
which
French,
battle are you talking about? Like, give some years and dates.
the Revolutionary War.
So we fought for both. We
the
fought
Civil War.
Hold on. Let's. Can you?
Any of those
Can we go
wars
through
y'all
these? Can we?
lost.
Hold on. Can we go through these? So we fought in the American Revolutionary War on both sides, and as the British monarchy. So why aren't you knowledgeable about that? So what's the issue?
Yeah, you
Also,
still
the
lost.
okay, let's talk about the Battle of New Orleans, which was at so we 1776, and now we 1812. So we won that.
What,
Andrew Jackson
against
petition. Hold on,
Europeans,
Andrew
against
Jackson
Europeans? Or we
petition.
talking
Those
about-
that all
no,
black
the ones here in
cavalry
Michigan.
regiment. So we
Chief
won that
Tecumseh
one.
and them. Chief
Wait.
Tecumseh and them up here in Michigan.
And so
got-
what was the
got-
United
got
States
whooped
doing in
on.
Afghanistan for 20 years? You want to talk? Who
We're not
won
talking about
Vietnam?
the United. We're talking about
Who
black
number no,
Aboriginal
but
Indians
you win some, you lose some.
and
Hannibal even lost
white
some.
Europeans.
So who won the Vietnam War or battle?
What are you talking about? We're talking about black Aboriginals versus
Okay, so which battle?
Europeans.
So if we fought for the British monarchy and we fought on the indigenous, or it was even neutral. So which one of us fought in those wars? And what are you talking about? Like which area?
So
like
the-
which
the-
one?
No,
And then why do you think that's connected to
talking
me?
about the Vietnam
So
War,
what- but-
knowing
but then
dang
how's that
on well
connected
that
to
wasn't
me?
no war fought over here.
And then how's that connected to me? And then how's it connected to you? I don't even
War
know, like,
1812 is
name
one
one
of
of the
them.
skirmishes in the American Revolutionary. Name
The
one
War
of the skirmishes.
1812 is one of them.
Name
that
one
you
of the
just named.
skirmishes of American Revolutionary.
The
Battle.
War of 1812 is one of the wars.
So
And
1776.
the other ones, they not
American
even
Revolutionary
listing
War,
them
and
as
you went
wars
to
because they just
1812.
came and
You
pushed
don't
out
know.
the
You don't
King
know U.S.
Philip, the
history.
King Philip's
You don't
War,
know
the
U.S.
King
history.
Philip's
Revolutionary. Name
The
one
War
of the
of 1812 is one of the wars.
So history.
The King.
Savary in 1812, and this is what became
Have
like
you ever
part
heard
of
of the King
Louisiana.
Phillips WAR? Yes or no?
So I just told you about all these different ones, but we're a part of. And the United States petitioned all black cavalries. So that's about New Orleans, Charles Joseph Savary. So they won that one. And that's when the British was trying to come back and reclaim some of his territory after 1776. So can you name any of the skirmishes like that we particularly lost in the
The
American
King
Revolution?
Phillips WAR is one of them.
What year was that?
When was this? Let me look up the year. Hold on.
Get some dates and get some locations while you at it.
1675 to 1678. I'll
So
give it.
in what area was that?
It was here.
I know it was here, but what area? Like there's like America's so vast. Like where was this? Go to your teacups. Go get some more information. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out which one we lost.
You also got the Pequot,
No. We start
WAR, and you
start
got
with
the
this-
Great
you
Swamp
said this other
Skirmish.
Francis. Which year was that?
I just named 3 of them.
And you
Oh,
said
got
you named it. And what was the
Coons
area?
in
And
the
then you
damn
went to teacup. What was the area?
Our historical dick in the booty ass nigga here.
Hold on, no. I asked him what was the area.
I'm sorry. He down here. Your boy historical down here gifted and shit.
I was asking him what's the area.
I don't even know who that is or what that's about, bro. But go ahead.
What was the area?
The King
Teacup.
Phillips War. The King Phillips WAR was fought in the Northeast United States along with the Pequot WAR and the Great Swamp Skirmish. Like a lot of them weren't even called WARs. A lot of them were skirmishes.
Yeah, I said
That
that's why I
they
said
consider, they even
skirmishes and
consider them
battles.
worthy of calling a WAR
Yeah.
because they got
So who
they
won
got
and who
pushed,
lost?
whooped up
Who
so
won and
bad.
who lost? Who
The
won and who lost?
Europeans.
Okay, so
We're not
Blackamoors,
talking about
Europeans,
some ambiguous
Blackamoor Europeans won that
WAR
one.
because
So
you
the
start talking about
Blackamoors
that.
won it. The
No,
Blackamoors won it.
no, the Blackamoors had nothing
The
to do with
Blackamoor
it.
Europeans that also
Yes,
fought for the
he
British
still thinks
monarchy.
No, they
European
had nothing
equals
to
white.
do with that.
He
Yeah,
thinks
the
European
Blackamoor
equals
Europeans, the
YT.
admirals.
He doesn't know any better.
You don't know any of the
Okay, show
military
us. Give us
commanders.
a Blackamoor that was an admiral during the Pequot WAR and the King Phillips WAR.
William
give me
Pitt.
the
We
Blackamoor.
can give you William Pitt. We got a lot of names.
William Pitts was a Blackamoor.
Yeah.
He was called a
Yep.
Blackamoor. Let
Yep.
me look him up. Let me look
All
him up.
right. Thank you. Keep looking them up. We got a lot of them. We got Navy admirals. We got a lot of I got a lot of names. You don't know enough.
As well. This ancestor of mine, Cherokee Jim, he fought in the Revolutionary War. It even says it on the screen. He fought in the Revolutionary War. We have records of our people in many wars that they fought. I got records of some of them fighting in the War of 1812 and the French and Indian War. WAR. You can't even have an adult conversation over here. Come on. They
You can
act
say
like
con- you
those
can say
those
conflict.
things.
You can
They
say
act like those
conflict.
things didn't really happen. They did happen. WAR. I have plenty records of them fighting in those WARs on this land. When you do your ancestry and you look up your records, a lot of those records you can look up those military records, and some of those military records go all the way back to even the Revolutionary, the 1812, and the French and Indian is what I'm saying. So not only do I have records of recent WAR records, I have old records as well.
What the fuck OHS say?
Hold on, y'all.
Leela Brown,
That's
she
what-
said
Hold on.
William Pitt.
Hold
One
on.
second.
Who
One
was it that
second.
echoed?
Yeah, that's Davita. But yeah, I was about to say, host is OHF. I know you is not talking about anybody doing anything the way you be yapping and screaming and shit.
No,
Uh,
Leela Brown said William.
Nah, trying to disrespect. Yeah, he trying to be disrespectful. Fuck out of here, OHF.
So
You
I
ran
don't
out.
like
You
how
ran. Go ahead.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
like how y'all paint European under one umbrella. Some Europeans were here as SLAVEs. Some Europeans were here to enter treaties. Some Europeans were here to team up with Indians against other Indians that were attacking them. Some were here to colonize. Y'all can't just use the word European and
Okay,
as
Leela
one
Brown.
category.
William
Why do y'all do
Pitts
that?
was a white T man. That was not a Blackamoor.
Picture
I
right
just
here.
looked him up.
I
The
have his
man
pic-
was
so
not
put
black.
his picture up. Let's open our camera. Let's put the
The
picture
man was
right here.
not black. Put him up.
All right, great. This is William
All right.
Pitt.
Add, why y'all doing that? Add to what Vinny was saying.
Can you see it? Okay.
There was
Oh, here you go.
Mongolians over here too. They were called the White Teeth Mongolians and the
Yeah,
Black
he definitely a
Mongolians,
black man.
too.
He's swarthy as hell. With a
Crazy,
bush.
man.
So
Let me put it
tell
on
me
the
who
big
William
screen.
Pitt was, boy. Can you
Ooh,
see it?
excuse
Okay.
me. I got you. Oh, DYT.
It's depicted
So
as a
tell me again who lost? What
they
war, what
depicted
war,
as
what battle, what conflict? Excuse me, Jen. I want to make sure we clear here. Okay, so tell me the significance, 'cause clearly you don't know politics. So.
Actual picture of William Pitt.
So great. So William Pitt
Here's
was
the
the British
actual picture of
statesman. He was the
William Pitt.
Prime Minister of England.
This is him
Right.
right here. The
On
man
what
had
Thank
a-
you.
You
white
showed a
wall.
black and white
Thank
picture.
you.
that
All
he
right, let's
made.
go on to John Wilkes.
After the picture
Let's
they
go to
put up.
Justice Mansfield, King George III. Let's go to the John Mackey
John
files.
Wilkes was a black man. Oh my
Yeah, let's go to the
God,
John
bro.
Mackey files.
What
We
is
ain't
up
talking
with
about
y'all and
John
Hold on,
Wilkes.
changing
can I
history?
make a coherent statement
One at a
adult
time,
to
y'all.
adult? Are you familiar with John Mackey
Hey,
and the Secret Service files? Or no, are you?
Next you gonna
it's a
say
yes or
George
no?
Bush was a black man. Next you gonna say
Well,
George
no, I'm
Bush
talking
was a
about
black
John
man.
Mackey. or Charles Mackey, John Mackey? Are you familiar with the Secret Service files?
Ma'am, after you said William Pitts was a white tea man, I can't
I
take
think I
none of
showed
your
his
sources
picture
serious.
because the
You
picture
said
I have.
John Wilkes Booth. You said John Wilkes
And
Booth.
I didn't say
You didn't
John
say
Wilkes
John
Booth.
Wilkes Booth. She
I
said
said
John
John
Wilkes.
Wilkes. He was a politician. He was an essayist. He was a journalist, and he was a soldier.
But again,
He
we're
he
talking
actually
about
owned a newspaper called the North Britain. Hold on,
You taking it off. You talking about
WAR.
wars against
He was in
Native
Parliament.
Americans being
WAR.
conquered.
He was in Parliament.
WAR.
So great.
Conflicts.
Yeah, so you're gonna give us some. So whatever your white tea supremacy narrative is not working here.
No, you just made up a story about
I
this
think I
man
showed the
being
picture. I think I showed the picture.
You
I
showed
was
a
very
black
clear.
and white picture. That wasn't
I think
an
I was
actual-
very clear.
No, that wasn't an actual picture of color.
It was actually hanging up. It's actually in the it's natural. It's in the National Portrait Gallery. It's hanging up 2 days.
So if I show you
What's up, Tyra?
what is his name?
That's actually
what is that guy
hanging
name?
up in the National Portrait.
The guy that helped
Gallery.
rebuild Washington D.C. Right?
Great.
If I show
So
you
I
a
just
picture
showed
of
you a
him,
British statesman, Prime
Benjamin
Minister of
Banneker.
England.
Does anybody want to drop?
They're
the
going to
Tyra?
show Benjamin Banneker as a black man. They're going to show Benjamin Banneker.
Yeah,
It's not
so I
going to
think
be
we
some
already- okay,
vague
move on, William
picture like
Pitt.
that.
Move on
Yeah,
from
but
William
you
Pitt.
should have just read the description.
Great.
No,
Move
because
on.
you just said that man was a black man, and I just pulled
And
the
I
picture up
showed
and clearly.
You
and
not.
I
You,
showed,
would you
they
stop,
they
bro?
expanded the photo.
Because you're not. You didn't pull up a picture. You literally
In
pulled
the
up a
bro,
painting.
in the description she
You
pulled
pulled
up
up a
it said that
painting.
he depicted as
You
a
You
black
talk
pulled
one at a
up
time. My
a
head hurt. I'm gonna
painting.
put on
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah, can y'all talk
I'm
one
trying to
at a
kill
time?
his noise about.
Print too.
I don't know why.
That's not a
That means too many
painting.
goddamn.
photos.
Hold on 1 second. Too many goddamn trigger words. Music break. I'll bring y'all back up. Too many. I saw a Big Back came in here, so this is for you, Big Back. You finally decided to come back to the lives. So I got a song for you. Reclassify Indian is Big Back for those that didn't know. So yeah.
Big back, big back. You know I need a big snack. And you know it's a Big Mac, cause I'm
Johnson
a
Fruits.
big back, big back. You know I can't see me. I hate all the vice in me. I sound like Darth Vader when I breathe. I'm just a little hefty, can't you see? Cause I'm a big back, and you know I need a big snack, and you know it's a Big Mac. Cause I'm a big back. Only time I leave the reservation is when I make my reservations. I'ma eat it all with the purpose preservations. You know I need a big snack, and you know it's a Big Mac.
My song?
Big back.
Yeah, that's your song.
That's cool. That's what's up.
Yeah.
How long did I take? How long did I take you to make that?
It took me like 2 minutes.
Damn. I must be getting there, huh?
Yeah, you're a celebrity in these streets, man.
I must have cutting too deep, huh?
Yeah, You already know you ain't on the bike with me. Yep.
That's cool. That's what's up. Hell yeah. That's what's up, bro.
Big back. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
We know you
We
can
done
see
getting
your
there, huh?
feet.
I
Go ahead,
wanted
Lila.
to go
We
back
done
to
getting there.
this because it was very interesting that I brought up also the John Mackey Secret Service files. I was
Mhm.
speaking,
So you're
boy.
saying-
Hey, boy.
so you're
I was
saying British
speaking. Boy, hey,
people
boy.
came and
Hey,
saw
boy.
you people?
Hey, boy. Hey, boy. I was
All right, here you
speaking.
go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So there's John
Man, I
Mackey.
came up here for
So
him,
after the
man.
rebellion,
Dang.
hold on, excuse you. After the rebellion, the king that was in succession and coronated, he petitioned for Secret Service to spy on certain groups of people. So they actually listed the Scottish, the British, like all this different nobility. So the John Mackey Secret Service memoirs were very much commissioned by the king himself and the queen. And so it described certain parts of the nobility. And for example, King Charles's son, it said he's black like his father, the king. So, all right. And then they went over to his other son, black like his father, the king. So all these things are explaining black nobility, the Scottish, all these British people were what you would call blackamoors. And so I'm not sure why he doesn't know that, but all this is like hanging in national portrait galleries, like all this stuff is readily available. And when it comes to the American Revolutionary War, it's very well known that we fought on both sides.
Ma'am,
And
you
in
just
some
said
and in
this
some
man was a
tribes they
black
were
man.
neutral and they weren't involved at all.
You see King Cass picture?
You just said this man was a black man, and then we pull up his
Queen
actual
Cass, you
pictures,
see your
and the
picture?
man was a clear white tee man. So
Queen
you keep
Cass, you
making
see
these
your
people
picture?
black and they're not
And
black.
that wasn't an accurate, and that wasn't
Queen
even the accurate.
Cass,
So
you
the
see
thing
your
is, like,
picture?
for what I'm talking about, mine is
Hold on.
Why you
mine.
cut the line?
Hold on, Tyrone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step down because this dude is like mad annoying, bro. And I don't even want to talk and have a
So
conversation
thank
with
you
this
for your
guy.
white tea wash, white tea supremacy. But I'm gonna stay with what's hanging up in the National Portrait Gallery.
No, you
Queen Cass,
showed-
why you
that's
running
like
from
what
the line,
Thank
bro?
you.
Israelites
All right, and
do,
now we
right?
can move on to Alexander Dumas.
Mm.
All right. There's a lot of people we
This-
can
this-
talk about, but I would invite you to check out the John Mackey Secret Service files, and you can see very much about the nobility, and that's what we're talking about. So you don't know
Darby, just-
enough, and you also don't know about the ports for the Boston Massacre. That was really the shot heard around the world. That's what prompted the American Revolution.
Sister, I think you kind of fell
I
off.
think
once
you
you,
don't- I promise think you said you was
when
about to leave,
and,
though.
and
I
posted
think
that
you don't
picture
know
of that
enough.
man that said he was
Well,
black.
I
and
think
we
that- I
looked
think
up,
the
promise you
picture,
said
it
you
was a
was
bunch
about
of
to leave.
white tee paintings.
Well,
Yeah.
no,
That's
that-
we leaving, bro.
Cass's
What
crew
happened?
from Not a Coincidence.
I mean, I think it's very
Must Be
clear. I mean, I can show
Clan.
the picture again.
First,
It's not a
first of
problem.
all, why are you drawing?
I can show the
pictures of
picture
us?
again.
Like, why are
Like,
you
it's
going?
not a problem.
No, I'm talking to this guy, Leela. I'm sorry. Why are you drawing pictures of me and everybody else? Like, that's weird.
'Cause it's
not
funny.
normal, fam.
Because it's funny.
No, it's weird.
That's
It's
what I'm
weird.
saying,
It's
bro.
weird.
Look,
character.
you supposed
You
to
also
rep
Well,
me
ain't
saying
no
about
man,
the part.
no woman gonna date you
artwork
because
is
you drawing
weird.
pictures
It's the
of
same.
dudes, bro.
It's
Like,
the
what's wrong
same.
Why
with
you
you?
duck the live, bro?
But I'm trying to see. Hold
tagged
on,
you
for
and
Uncle
Joaquin.
Roy. Uncle Roy, can you show us some credits where that is hanging or where that's presented, like your work?
That's not a black person though. It's not a black person.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
One's a bronze statue. And
Yeah,
another one
I'ma
is
go
just
with that.
And a
I know you're
black
not used to
and a
seeing us
wig,
in our
bro.
finest.
a
I
man
know
with
you're not
a
used to seeing us in our
aquiline
finest.
nose and a wig.
I know you're not
Africans
used to
got
seeing us
aquiline noses.
in high fashion, but we're in high fashion as well. You know what
I
I'm saying?
also
Like we're
got
high
the same
fashion as
picture
well.
of the man right here, but he looks
So
just
give me
like
your
the
credits.
man right here. I
Give me
got.
your credits. Give me your
Leah,
credits.
Leah, zoom out a
who's the
little bit.
Look at the man right here that I got.
Give me the art. Give me the artist, because I don't even see anything that says his name. At least I know
William
like,
Pitt is not a
caption.
black man.
I
can
know
you
you're
show
not
the
used to seeing
artist?
us in nice clothes. I know you're seeing us in rags and tattered and torn, but you don't know dandyism, my friend.
Leah, stop moving something. I'm trying to screenshot. You
trying.
moving a lot.
I'm trying to hold this
She
daddy.
moving like shit.
And I'm trying to zoom in without it getting blurry.
I know. Just back up a little bit. I want to get all the words just so we can. There you go, right there. That's all he
Oh,
got to
my
do.
bad.
See, I proved that you can screenshot something and go look it up. That's all.
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to understand, like, where's he attributing his sources?
So we dressed up like Europeans. So
But I
first
wanted
we were
to see
Indians,
you. I
and now
wanted to see
we're
the person's
William
name
Pitt.
and the
He
artist.
is European.
We dressed
Because
up like
sometimes those
Europeans with
paintings
wigs
were
on.
after the person
He is
had
a European.
expired. Great.
Oh,
So we
we
dressed
got
up.
it.
That
Dresses
was our.
like a European, does he not?
hold on. Y'all make no
That was
sense.
our.
One moment,
Oh, sorry.
one moment, y'all keep saying we're mixed with European DNA, not by choice. Then the next moment, you're separating Europeans from us. If we're mixed with European, we are the Europeans. What are you talking about?
Hold on, let me fix this.
Facts.
Like, what are you talking about? Why do you keep separating us from European?
And we're
Yeah,
speaking
they-
English.
Cause they
They
look,
playing
oh,
Pseudo-
DYT. That's why.
You put them as superior. Has anybody seen the King George penny of Barbados, or I believe it's 17, but it's the King George penny. Has anybody seen that? It's literally his face on it. It's minted. It was in circulation. It's so evident. All of these people, and so I'm just trying to figure out why don't you know this already?
Oh, we got Celine in here. What's up, Celine?
I want to know how it's possible that it was illegal for Europeans to mix with Africans.
It
It
should be
was looked
straight,
down.
man.
It was looked down upon, and their offspring were seen as abominations. But it was encouraged to mix with Indians. And most people that are Indians that have brown skin that look like us have European DNA. And if they
Ding,
mix with
ding, ding,
Africans,
ding,
they would
ding, ding.
they would have been unalived and put in jail if they mix with Africans. But somehow
Say that
we all
again.
have European DNA. Does that make sense to you, sir?
Eunice, could you say that again? Could you say that again?
Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah, I'll say it again. It was illegal for Europeans to mix with Africans. Their offspring were seen as abominations. The European was unalived for mixing with the African, and they were thrown in jail. But it was encouraged to mix with Indians. It benefited them. It benefited both parties, actually, usually. So I'm just trying to figure out how all of us got European DNA if it was illegal to mix with Africans.
What's up, Chief Natural?
And don't lie and said they hid it, because you can tell a biracial, so don't even play.
Can I say
Go ahead,
something?
Celine. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Black kings ruled Europe for 750 years. So I mean
No, they did. Like, why do y'all
Even-
put
even
everybody
lies.
outside?
Black kings
Yo, let
ruled
her
More than like
finish.
1,200 years.
Black
Yo, let her-
king.
yeah,
How long
yeah.
was it, Lila? My centuries may be off.
You're saying 700
But I-
because you're talking about when they took over Spain until, so that was 711 AD into 1492. But
So,
they had
yeah.
also ruled all, that was Spain, but all of Europe at one point, and they ruled as the Holy Roman Empire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't we got statues?
Well,
of
you
them
don't know
people?
enough. You're not an
Go
academic.
look up the first
But you're not an
Roman
academic.
emperors that were
You're like
there.
Go look
Googling,
up something.
like you're just
What are you
Googling.
talking
You're
about?
pulling up like whatever Wikipedia.
What's up, Bree?
No, I seen this stuff in books before Google.
But
even
you need to
existed
travel
as
the
a
world and
child.
go to the museums yourself. No
Hold
one's
on.
ashamed
So
about
you're going by
this.
information that you learned as a child, bro. I'm gonna assume you're probably like in your 30s. Right?
No, if I
I'm in my
Google it,
30s,
it's
right?
wrong with y'all.
So
if
I
I
was
learned
born
it
in.
in
I was
school,
born in.
it's wrong with y'all.
I was
Y'all
born
don't
in-
believe anything.
So you believe
Travel,
everything
go
you
see the
learned when you were
museum.
6 or 7 years old, and you continue that rhetoric on into your height and age. That's
I'm older than
that's the
y'all, so
information that you're
Google
going for,
wasn't
right?
out when I was in
Y'all
high
not gonna be quiet for
school.
me.
To
I seen it
present
in high school,
whitey
sir.
washed artwork, which is
Don't
really
do that.
weird. And so I was asking you, can you tell me a little bit more about this painting? Like who painted it? And what year was it
The
painted?
same people that made your
No,
pages
no,
of wood and
seriously,
bits.
artwork matters.
You got caught telling the story. Ma'am, you got caught telling the story.
His name is Queen.
We have the
Cass.
picture
My
right
Uncle
here.
Leroy is Auntie Leroy.
Hey,
Yeah, but
Hey,
I'm
shut
serious.
up.
I want to know the artist.
Hey,
and the year
you
that this was painted,
a
'cause
fat
I showed you
half
William
Asian
Pitt.
Chinese
I
looking
don't
dude.
know if
You're
this
not
is
even
William
all the way
Pitt.
black.
Showtime.
Not even all the way black.
It's showtime. Hell yeah. Go ahead, Lila.
Great, thank you. So when we're talking about artwork, we're talking about actually the artist. So what we know with the artwork, there was definitely whitewashing. There's also reproductions, and no one ever said it was that person. So when you talk about that, you have to give us at least the name of the artist or tell us where it's hanging so we can go see it for ourselves. For this is for people that actually visit museums. So when it comes to the American Revolution, we know that there were black or more black Europeans in these United States in the 13 original colonies. So we have names of also prisoners, ship manifest, rebel, convict, the Jacobite Rebellion of 1716. Many of those that rebelled against the throne were sent to the 13 original colonies. So we have their name, we have their ages. So they have the description, the marks of what they look like. They talked about their complexion. Then moving over to John Mackey, another rebellion and people being expelled, and there was Secret Service. There were people actually spying, and they gave descriptions of whether these people were loyal to the king. It also said what these people look like. So when they say about the king's son, he's black, he looks black complexion like his father, the king. When they talk about other people in the nobility being swarthy, like all that's well documented already. And then there's family crest. So some people are actually able to keep these things preserved. So what he's showing, we already know Oliver Cromwell, they were burning paintings, they were whitewashing, they were doing a lot of things to change all of that. But fortunately,
All right, it's only right.
Okay, ma'am. We pulled up the artwork. It looked just like the pictures that you showed. You were caught in a story, and it's okay, ma'am. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just face and own up that you were caught in a story. It's sorry. The same picture that you showed that wasn't in any color, it looked just like this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm pretty sure your other sources, you said, was it John Wilkes Booth was black and all this other stuff. Like, ma'am, you're living in a delusion. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. Like, just face the fact that you got caught up. We found it's more pictures of this white T man on Google, and you can go look up the artists and where they got it at and stuff like that. The man is not black. Just face the facts. And for this guy named Tyron up here, bro, I'm not gonna be up here with this dude too long. He's an agent. He's drawing people. He's a weirdo and stuff like that. If the guy mentioned my name up here, bro, I'm gonna drop down. I don't want to talk to this dude. I don't want to have a conversation with this guy. I don't like the guy. You know what I'm saying? But as far as for Leela Brown, the man is a white man. Mr. Pitts or whatever his name is.
Who skipped him? That was it.
That's crazy. I ain't skipping nobody. But go ahead, Venus.
Yeah, a lot of y'all coming up here don't y'all don't know history. I don't like how the opposition paints Europeans as like one group. There's different types of Europeans. Pale Europeans had existed by then. The dark-skinned Europeans had existed. There were mixed Europeans. There were Europeans coming over here as SLAVEs. Themselves down as Native American in the 1800s to get away from Chinese camps. I noticed how nobody be talking about that. Where did all the Chinese people go that married into black families? They completely they married Indian women and then they took on their surnames and didn't mark themselves down as Chinese. And I noticed nobody ever mentions that. Half them people y'all be pulling up aren't even fucking Indian. Those are Chinese people. Melanated Chinese people. Anyways, if you don't want to talk to Tyron, I don't know, you want to talk to Tyron, you want to talk to women up here like that. That's crazy. Y'all be scary.
Uh-oh.
Y'all be scared to talk to other men. That's crazy to me.
What's up, New Era?
And why is there a spear chucker with an afro profile picture in the comments? Talking all that trash with that cartoon profile picture.
Mm-mm. All right, Tyrone, it's on you.
Yeah, I can back up what Venus is saying because my family on my dad's side is one of those Asians that became like a part of the indigenous community and married an indigenous Black American woman. And so, yeah, you're looking at one right now. And Queen Cass and AKA Auntie Lyra's Hoodoo Corner, yeah, he's the resident troll. He always comes up here to interrupt people's flow and try to negate reparations talks and stuff like that by bringing up some random West Africanized vision of hoodoo and voodoo, which has nothing to do with West African culture at all. But yeah, we can do a deeper build on that but I came up here to talk shit about Queen Cass for a little bit, but I yield the mic.
All right, cool. You all go on to Crystal Venus or Amon, anybody. I don't know. Big bag, big bag. You can skip Tyron. He's done. Oh, I guess we just. All right, 30 seconds. And I don't know. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, what's up, Crystal?
Well, hey y'all. So my first thing to Auntie Leroy is if you're African, you have no interest in the land according to the 1866 treaty, right? No African. So they said all of y'all from the continent, y'all one big nigga. So they grouped you as you wanted to be, one big nigga, even though they don't like each other, actually over there. Um, you have no interest in the land. So when you go to the SS office, you make sure you mark your black/African box because you're not American. You are an immigrant here on my land, and you have no interest in the land. So I don't even know why uh, we would entertain you. I guess just for fun purposes, something to do. But anywho, right here I have some actual money. That's King Henry the First. That is a coin. That is actual money. Moolah, dinero. Okay, scratch dealer. Okay, money. That's actual money. Okay, that is King Henry. He is a swarthy man with his roly polies in the back of his head. You see his roly polies? I see his roly polies. I don't know any coleslaw churn that got roly polies. I don't know no Nabisco Keebler F churn or the NA the group that got roly poly hair. Okay, neither group, neither one. Okay, so that's that. And also, you a spirit chuckle. Thank you.
All right, who's next?
Oh shit, my
What's up,
bad. Let me
Popcorn?
fix this picture, bro. You messed me up because when I heard coleslaw children, that shit, never in my life heard that. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. I don't even really got to. It's just a clear picture. Washington. There is nobody that has been throughout history who has been put as another race or another culture or another color to come up with a certain narrative. But we can show you picture after picture after picture of after depiction after depiction of people who are clearly whitewashed. Clearly, you will see an older text, an older image, an older picture, and then you will see a new modern one that doesn't look the same or doesn't look like it came from the same time period. And who's going to stick with which side? Whoever's narrative is going to be fixed at the right moment, right? This is why your boy Putin come out with the whole book of all the stuff in biblical times. That wasn't just a book for the Bible. So this is not a Bible thumping thing I'm giving you right now. He's giving you a book of ancient information, and look at all of the characters in there. What do they look like? But what do you know them to look like if you was worried about something you learned in high school? They gonna look a little pale. Calm that stuff down, bro. Stop switching narratives and picking and choosing and nitpicking just to try to be correct because you're getting paid on the side. Stop it. It don't help when one of your own people come up in here and pay you to keep saying what you're saying. He literally paid, bro, to keep talking and stay up here. That's weird. That's weird.
What's up, Department of Interior? You there? They said that he has a bad connection. He blocked him. Hmm. I guess skip him then. I guess. Oh, he's not there. All right, cool.
I just wanted to say, you African descendants that are men, y'all are so buck. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all are like effeminate. Y'all are effeminate. Y'all don't build nothing. Y'all can't. Y'all on YouTube saying you can't pay the bills because of slavery. You can't. Something's wrong with y'all. Y'all be online admitting that, telling people that you got done in the booty on the SLAVE plantation. That didn't even happen. You know how homophobic white people were? What are you talking about? You going around telling people they was in your booty, digging in your booty on the plantation in front of your women. That's how buck broken and effeminate y'all are. Who does that? You African descendant. There's something wrong with y'all. And then y'all get online and tell everybody you poor because of slavery. You need to get a job. You need to go to Africa, get a job, and leave us alone. I'm so tired of y'all. This why. Let me go. Let me scan myself. How do I scan myself?
That's how you see. She said, let me stop.
This is
Why?
ridiculous.
But that'd be crazy. Like that's why I like why like people to do that. I say they got a fetish for that shit. Like, cause people say it so loosely. Like every time someone brings up they got Indian, it's like, oh, cause your ancestors was blase blah, essayed by somebody. Like really? What's up, left with it?
Yo, yeah. What up, man? Shit, I'm gonna answer the original question. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never tried to tell nobody who they were. You know what I'm saying? We don't really give a damn. All we ever tell people is to do your genealogy, find out who the hell you are. It's gonna be some people gonna be left behind, put out the information. You know what I'm saying? Lead a horse to water. If he drank, he drank. If he died, he passed away. You know, these tired ass talking points. Y'all never bring no sources to the room. Y'all, you know, try to ask you for sources. You run, you know, like you always do. Hey, like I say, I don't know, man. It's like I said, man. Before, you know, what have Africans contributed to American society? What have Native Americans invented?
All right, who is on?
Grandfather on the paternal
Can we
grandfather.
blow up? Can we blow up my screen? Can we blow up my screen?
But I was asking about your father. That'll probably help because when we're talking
Ma'am,
about
that's a
slavery,
person. That's a person. First of all, don't ask about my family.
I don't think anybody on here just saying
Mind your
anything that
family.
wouldn't
I
be
ask you about
personal to
your
their
grandma.
I know
family.
you have no
Your
vestige
Indian
from
grandma.
your father, so that's why you're
So,
behaving.
to
answer
what Lila,
to answer what
this is the lady that be quoting Jesse Lee
his
Peterson.
father has not.
You the lady that be quoting Jesse
him.
Lee Peterson.
I know about
mic,
King
y'all.
Cass background.
He's
Uh-oh.
talking
He goes
about
around Aboriginal panels talking about he's from can somebody mute up?
With that,
Turn your echo off, bro.
No.
Use your mic. Thank you.
He knew that was him.
He goes around
You in your mouth when I see you. I'm
Queen
gonna punch you.
Cass, shut up, bro. So
Super
Queen,
predator.
what Queen
Punch
Cass
your fat
does,
jiggly.
Stop
I'm
listening
telling
to
you
the
about your
violence.
genealogy.
Yeah,
So
stop.
Because you want to, hey, look, Darby, you want to get this nigga the mic.
Violent, you're a super predator, and your
Hey,
father didn't invest
Well,
in
you
you.
got to
said
talk, bro.
you the
Hold
same
on,
nigga
let me
that-
tell you
Darvis, I told
Did
you
you
I
say-
don't
did
want to
you-
have a
I-
conversation.
Uncle
Alright,
Roy, what
alright,
does
then
your
why did
father
you
say
drop
about
then?
all this?
Like,
Why don't you drop,
look,
man?
Mute his
Why don't
mic
you
right
drop
quick.
that?
I don't want to have a
I'm
conversation
tell
with
you.
you.
Oh, Uncle
Hold on,
Roy, what does
okay.
your father say
It's
about all
Auntie
this?
Leroy.
Darvin,
All right,
So-
yo, you said you was gonna drop if he started talking, so
So,
you ain't do that. So
his
you obviously want to be up
background,
here.
you let him slam.
Why
So
you let
he
him
goes
slander
on
me?
Aboriginal panels talking about he's a descendant of Ibrahim Sudi, a Fulani Muslim, but he can't even back that shit up.
Oh, man. I mean, he's Moorish. That's a Moorish Arab anyway.
That's what he is. And to back up what Venus was saying, you got people like Skip Gates who are put out here to be safe Negroes to keep us from questioning these Native Americans on these reservations because they whole life got NAGPRA, this act where they prevent Black Americans from finding out their Indian bloodline through DNA genetics and also these archaeological dig sites where they dig up Luzia, Kennewick Man, etc., etc. So Henry Louis Gates said all of that rape stuff to get your mind off
You
of
can't
the
say
fact
that, Tyron.
grape stuff. I'm sorry. Grape stuff to get your mind off of the fact that you're owed reparations. He wants to negate the
fruits.
fact that we got maroon communities that already were admixed with Mongol style Native Americans and also Paleo Indian Negroes that were already in the land. What he wants to do is try and negate that information to keep us from reparations because he told you what he was all about in one of his articles that we're all mixed, right? He said that you demanding reparations is racial bullying white folks. And we know where his head at. Same with Rick Kittles. Rick Kittles also mentioned this casino money stuff, mocking us wanting our share. And not knowing that we already had our own casinos like Majestic Star and Foxwoods and the Green County Casino where Senator Scott Beeson slipped and said that Negroes are Aborigine. And he was made to apologize for that. So we know what's up.
For sure. All right, we got
So this picture gets that top picture is always pushed around amongst the Aboriginal community, right? And they always show us like, look at the guy with the short hair. He's a Native American, Aboriginal American, and all that. But right here, we see the classification. The American or Indian race found only in America is of a deep copper color, straight black hair, which I'm looking at a lot of faces, and robust bodies. This race comprises of all American Indians and the Equinox, I can't see that, who belong to the Asiatic race, and that's highlighted. But when you go down to where for the black person, say, what is the fourth race and what are the characteristics? The African or Negro race, they have a jet black skin, low narrow foreheads, black woolly hair, thick lips, long heels, the native inhabitants of Africa, right? And that's describing everybody on this panel, unless you have some type of admixture or something like that. But most of you, unless you put weave or you perm your hair, majority of you do not have no long, straight black hair that looks Asiatic, looks that's straight up straight. It either have a curl to it, or you comb it out or whatever, or process it, or it's tightly curled. It's 4C hair. So y'all can stop with that misinformation, fam. We have the description. This is an old description since y'all want to go to old books and stuff like that. It is calling y'all. What did they call us back in the day? They called us Negro, the American Negro. The Negro, when you see it here, the African or Negro race. What is the Negro race referred to? Of African origin, of African descent. Not Native American, not South Asian, but Africa.
What's up, Cassie?
This makes no sense because American Indians straighten their hair with hot stones and bear grease. Why would you have to straighten your hair if it's already straight? Second of all, some of us did have straight hair, but and we also had curly hair. Also, our curly hair grows different than Africans. My hair grows out the root straight and then it becomes curly, which is why I cannot do most braided styles. It comes out my head after a few days. So I don't even know what you're talking about. especially when we get older. When we get older, our hair gets straighter as well. So, are you saying we become Indian once we hit 70 years old or something? Is that what you're saying? Because our hair gets straighter when we turn 70. So being Indian is like a coming of age party or something. Is that what's going on here? Because the roots of my hair are straight. They're bone straight, and then the bottom part gets curly. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you African, get up off. Why haven't you sold your house to a Native American? You know, stats are saying Native Americans are facing a homelessness crisis, but for some reason, you comfortable sitting on your musty DICK on Indian land. That's what's interesting to me. Why haven't you sold your house to a Native American? Why have you not moved? You know you come from Africa, but you have not yet to move over there. That sounds like self-hate to me. And then Africans are always complaining how the hair chart doesn't match their hair. Oh, the 4C, I must have 4Z hair because the 4C hair on the chart doesn't match me. Yeah, it doesn't match you because we don't have the same hair. So I don't know what you're talking about. Africans don't have 4C hair. They got like 4Z hair. What are you talking about? They got 8Z hair. They don't got no 4C hair. And I'm sure you got 8Z hair too with them NIGGA naps at the back of your head. We are not the same people.
What does hair texture have to do with landmass and the civilization? And then he pulled up that picture. So that man, what did his mama look like? So then you're saying everybody in his tribe look like that? Like are they twins? So that doesn't make sense. But moving over to the memoirs of the Secret Service files from John Mackey, on page 36 of this book, it was published in 1733. Charles Lennox, Duke of Richmond, son of Charles I of Scotland, black complexion, much like King Charles. Yes. So John Lord Somers, Lord Chancellor, brown complexion, 1651. I mean, we got dates, we got names. Daniel Earl of Nottingham, a tall, thin black man that's on page. He was the Secretary of State. These people were being spied upon. So these are their files. Charles, Duke of Somerset, he's on page 16 and 17, Master of the Horses, reign of Charles II, black complexion. We got John, Duke of Buckinghamshire. He was the Earl of Mulgrave, brown complexion, in the reign of King Charles. So we have all these different people, all these different lords and titles. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, but still, like, I was trying to make the point that we're dealing with a beta male who has no investiture from his father. And so that is very important when we're talking about pedigree. So they can't understand that. So what he sees is this movement is moving on without him. And Uncle Roy comes from a poverty mindset. And so that yields violence. And he's susceptible to doing heinous crimes. COINTELPRO, they didn't use white people. COINTELPRO was able to infiltrate the Black Panther Party because they look like us. And we've always had a Judas amongst us. That's nothing new. That Cain and Abel story, like, that's nothing new. And so that's what we're dealing with here. So that's why I asked, what does his father say? Because his father hasn't invested in him. And so this is the only way he's going to have some type of attention. Otherwise, nobody's really investing in educating him because he doesn't really matter.
Go ahead, Crystal. House. Crystal, you there? Oh, DYT. Somebody saw that. But yeah, I guess you get script, Crystal. The Phoenix on the flag. Or we could look into this. What's the prompt topic? Well, we're off topic, but the prompt is, are Black Americans, forcing other Black Americans to become American Indian? But what's up, Firewalker?
The reason why you get a lot of Pan-Africans or so-called Africans or Africans in general who want to make this argument and keep on going with this is because these are a group of these set of people. The Caucasoid skull. You see that, right? From left to right. Okay. Now you see what's in the end of that right there. You're gonna see Horn of Africa, Middle Eastern. So in order for you to inhabit Africa or have come from the east or the west, you had to come to Africa, correct? These are the people that you argue with most of the time. This is the genome that they come from. This is the people that you're arguing with. I'm not even saying that bro was that. But if he wants to be African, he's included in this right here. This is who you deal with. This is your so-called Native American too. This is going to be the Arabs who started the Arab slave trade. This is going to be all of these same people who always seem to have come together genetically or just by whatever, mainly because of money these days, to oppose us. I get tired of arguing with the same people with different shades. It starts to look like I'm just, going back in circles, and that's all we ever do. The talking points. Every single person in this, you notice they all gonna have the same talking points. They all gonna come from the same scenario, same equations, all the time. It never changes, and it gets a little old.
For sure. And after the last person, I'm gonna play their Smash Afrobeat song.
Yeah, this shit's funny, bro.
Okay, so I can't believe you still up here, Uncle Ruckus. But since you are, let me.
Yeah, she left.
Real quick. Oh, he just left. Why he always do that? Why you leave, sir? You know good and well what I was about to show.
Uh-oh.
I'm back.
The show is.
I'm back, sir. Okay, let's start off with the book I told y'all about earlier. I had been showing him this. Oops, that's not turning my camera on. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Sorry, y'all. It froze. Okay, here we go. So, this book, I told him to read it. I thought I gave him the links. He screenshotted it, said he was going to search it. I don't know if he didn't. I don't know what he did. But, let me skip to, because it feels like it's still loading. It's moving slow. Okay, it's called The Indian Races of North and South America. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book about Hernan Cortez Montezuma. I'm going to skip to page, what page is it? Because it's a couple pages. 591. First example, he went to Trinidad. Let me zoom in. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
Yeah, I'll call her. Yes, it took her a minute to set this up.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. So if y'all can read it, it says, oh, it's about to cut off on me.
Yeah, we'll bring you back. Looks like we're.
Oh man, I ain't had nothing to add. I just wanted to show Doggy a dark copper colored Indian with straight hair. They act like that shit don't exist for us or something, man. My whole entire family got straight hair. Sister, mama, daddy, both grannies, all of them. That straight hair, man. They out of line. They mad because they can't get it. It's cool though. I ain't got shit else to say. I just wanted to show some good ass hair.
Yeah, we can turn Showtime off. I was gonna say my mom has straight hair.
Okay. Let's try this again.
All right, cool.
Okay. So this is about when Hernan Cortez, the conquistador Spaniard, landed in Trinidad. This is my first example. It says the first land made was the island of Trinidad. At the mouth of the great river Orinoco, no Indians were seen upon the island by a party sent on shore. The Indian, when it says Indians, it's talking about the, people who ain't us, right? Because that's who they was expecting. That's who they thought they was going to see. Or them other people that they thought was Indian. It says, as the vessels approached the Serpent's Mouth, the southern entrance of the Gulf of Paria, 25 of the natives made their appearance in a canoe. To the astonishment of the admiral, who had expected from the reports at Hispaniola to find a race of Negroes in these southern latitudes,
They were of lighter complexion than any with whom he had before held intercourse. Their figures were well proportioned and graceful. And them fake Asians, they not proportioned nowhere. My next example, the tribes of California. Now, in California, he likes to think it was only the East Coast that was done wrong. It wasn't. It was the entire continent. But here, they sent this man, Stephen Powers, to go check on the tribes over in the West Coast, see what's going on over there. And whatever he wrote the first time, they sent him this letter saying, to change it. So he wrote them back, "My dear sir, your letter asking me to modify my estimates as to the Aboriginal population of California has been received and carefully considered. When you wished me to strike out the matter relating to origin and language, I did it cheerfully because I was obliged to admit that it was written somewhat."
Oh, dang. Yeah, that went by fast. That 2 minutes. That was a fast 2 minutes.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go on mute because I wasn't ready to go yet, cousin.
You're from Africa. Go. You can finish up. Yeah.
Okay. It was basically they
Fine.
told him to change it. But my last example I'm gonna use, I'm not even gonna go to multiple of the tribes. Because I was trying to let the thing load and find the page where Balboa also said he found people that look like us. But I'm gonna just go to hear about the Yuki tribe since he said we don't have any examples of anyone that looks like us. I don't know. Let me zoom in a bit so y'all can see. Okay, and it has the word brown highlighted here. It says the Yuki have disproportionately large heads, mounted like cannonballs on smaller, short bodies with rather protuberant abdomens. Their eyes are a trifle undersized, but keen and restless, and from the execrable greenwood smudge in which they live in winter, they are not unfrequently swollen or horribly protruding. Their noses are stout, short, and straight, the nares expanded, and they have heavy shocks of stiff, bristly hair, cut short, and hence bushy looking. They are variously complexioned without any perceptible law, from yellowish buff to brown and almost black. So they had bushy hair and they came in multiple complexions from yellow to black. Brown is in the middle. I'll pause there because I know other people want to go.
Who had their source on the screen first?
Was it you or Tyrone?
It was either Crystal or Tyrone
What's up,
first, I think.
Ninja? Well, Crystal, she has been at her camera. Hers been up.
Okay.
Can I go?
Crystal, yeah, since you were up, yeah, you didn't get to go last time. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my mic was on. My mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay. So this right here is from a book. This is
I think he's talking to Body. I think he's talking to Body.
When you say
link.
Oh god dang it. Okay.
I don't know who they said that to, but they said in the link.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Crystal.
Oh, okay. So this is a dude named Maurice, right? And the word Maurice means swarthy person, right? And Maurice here in this book is depicted as swarthy because his name means he dark skinned. And that's what it means. So people's last name used to be Maurice, spelled Maurice, but they changed it to Morris, right? So they didn't have to denote that the actual last name means to be midnight. Okay.
You want to know something to add to that real fast before you switch it off?
Oh,
That is where, when they talk about the Moors that came from Europe, boom, they're literally actually talking about his bloodline.
Yeah, Maurice. Yeah.
They were not talking about
the Maurice, the Saint Maurice is also a substitute word, and it's a total misnomer. And you can look that anytime they see one of these black knights or noble or anybody in the cavalry, they identify them as Saint Maurice, and this could be over the span of 1,000 years. all these people. So it's a way to disguise who these people were. But in this particular, it's one of my favorite that she's showing. If you can look at the flag, it has the phoenix. That same phoenix facing that same direction with the mouth out is on my family crest for the brown heraldry. And that's our brown, and it's coming out of the Irish. I mean, I bought the crest out of the Irish site. But anyway, you can see that same black phoenix, like the Cherokee Phoenix, that's the name of our newspaper. That same phoenix is on the Atlanta flag. I mean, they have a phoenix. So that phoenix is very, very important. And so
They-
if you start to see more of the artwork, you will see that symbolism within
if
it
you
as well.
if you paying attention, you also look at
Y'all move me. Damn.
who else they give that bird to. As the same way we was talking about that other symbol that was on in Washington. Then we ain't supposed to talk about it because it's about a certain group of people, some ish people. Swastika, y'all. That same symbol, that same bird is used for them too. They give it to the Nazis. They give it to them too, and they do it on purpose. And this is another depiction of Maurice I got right here. So just like she was saying, that's where they get the terminology. The Moors came from, or the Moors were a bloodline of that area. It's the Maurices, the Moriscos, the Maurices. Those were the ones that they're talking about. They're not. It's not the group of people like you thinking. Oh, the North Africans that came up and did it. And that's another set of people. That's the Berbers. That's another set that were just used and given the name Moor because they had a certain hue. That's it. So it's a distinction that has to be made, because when somebody starts running around talking about, oh, I'm a Moor, I'll be like, well, what kind? And then it starts going left because nobody can tell you what dynasty they came from. They can't tell you nothing. They just know they.
But anyway, I would like to address Queen Cass, aka Auntie Lyra's comment or whatever shit he was trying to pull. Because if he did his academic due diligence, he would know that copper colored also means Negro. And black ain't got shit to do with Negro. If you look up Jack E. Forbes on PDF talking about it. And so the image that he showed was the Eurocentric reset in the 19th century, where they were trying to associate copper colored and Indian to a Mongoloid stock. But beforehand, they were calling us or them Negro in the 1500s under the Spaniards and the Portuguese use of Negro. And what Afrocentric Pan-Africans like to do, they want to reach for 1728 Negro land map as a argument when Negro was applied to the indigenous inhabitants in the Caribbean, South America, and North America. So here is a slave ad that says a Negro man named Hemp, a Negro slave named Bob. Both of them are described as copper complected individuals. So what is this idiot talking about with that whole image? Because it says in that 1828 definition of Webster's, what YK tried to one up us with, he said, why do Abos call themselves original people while y'all call the other people Native Americans? Well, I body bagged his whole ignorant spiel because it says it all right here that we are the copper colored people. So they're snaking you in your face with this goofy stuff because they don't know Hegelian dialect or double speak. But I'll lay my plane at that.
Venus.
Yeah, this says in 1854, the California State Supreme Court sought to bar all non-Caucasians from equal citizenship and civil rights. The court stated that the word black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro does not include all black persons. We are of the opinion that the word whitey, Negro, mulatto, and black person, whenever they occur in our Constitution, must be taken in their generic sense, that the words black person in the 14th section must be taken as contradistinguished from whitey, and necessarily includes all races other than the Caucasian. So I don't know why he said NEGRO means African. That's not what the Supreme Court says right here. So
Stop playing.
Stop playing with us. Hold on. This how they be coming in the lies real quick. You know, they play this song real quick. This how I play the Pan African one or the Afro Beats one.
hold on, can we have that on the screen?
Came back in.
Can we have that on the screen or
What's on the screen?
Mine, I don't know.
the NIGGERs on the screen?
Is it?
Oh shit, let me see.
That's what I'm saying. Can we have that?
Hey y'all, I'm sorry, it just popped off. I had it. Hold on.
I'm saying, can we have that on the screen?
Okay. There it is. There. That is the old Oxford dictionary's definition of the hard ER.
Can you back it up a little?
Let me see if I don't know if I can make it smaller. Hold on. It says that.
Ty, you echoing.
Hold on. I don't know if I can turn it around. I don't know.
I'm not going to tell you done.
All right.
Yeah.
So on that, what you're showing on your screen, it says Polynesian N-words, right? And so they also try to Mongoloid wash the Polynesians, and I've seen many natives mention that they are relatives to Polynesian, but deny Black American Indians.
Well, I know this definition. A dark-skinned person of any origin, and then it's in early U.S. history with reference to American Indians. And it says that they had called us the hard ER word here. And it wasn't just Africans that they was calling the hard ER. And maybe that's why when a lot of them talk to us online, the Africans, they disrespect and call us niggas. Yeah, nigga. You know, nigga, you the same as us. You know, that's a weird energy for someone to want to be a part of somebody so bad that, look, my grandmother always told us we not them people. We not African. And I got a grandma that's 96 years old, still living. Okay? Still living.
To be honest, the way they pronounce it is because they pronounce it in the manner in which the word means royalty. So, like, cause if you go look up NEG, what is it? NEGAS, it means royalty. It means it's so they don't even know that part. And it's crazy because it's from over there. That pronunciation is from Africa when Negars or Negis means royalty.
See, there was Negro de Terra and Negro de Guinea. So even in history and books, it'll say, talk about the Negro de Terra, and that is the blacks of this land. That's what it means. That's what the Portuguese and the Spanish called us here, Negro de Terra. And they called the blacks from over there in Africa, Negro de Guinea, right? Because Negro in Spanish means black, right? I remember someone else mentioned the Revolutionary War. When I talk about different things in history, I try to pull up my ancestors where I could tie myself to that history. This is one of my Cherokee ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War. Like I said, we got records of disputes that we had on this land. So yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic now.
Sure. Oh man, I was about to say I'm about to
I
I'm
don't
about to wrap.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to say that I just don't understand why. Like, what do they perceive to be a credible source? Because then they say, "Oh, that's the white tea man," and then they present white tea narratives. But even still, there's so many memoirs, there's so many journals that tells about what these people look like. So I'm not really sure what it is they're fighting. I just think that we make them feel like their arguments like are valid, and so I think that's why he left the stage, is because I was really genuinely interested to like know what his father was teaching him, but like I said, there's no investor there. But I just thought that was really, really interesting tonight that he pulled up a white tea washed portraiture, and then we have all these other things. That was really astonishing to me. I'm just like really like I don't get it, but there's just way too many things. So that I mean that's what I was gonna present. I know you're gonna wind it down, but there's just all these things about these people continue to be called swarthy. I just don't see anywhere else in history where white tea people were referred to as swarthy. So the ruddy, all that stuff. So I'm not seeing it. I don't get it. But again, these people haven't done the research. And then someone said they referred books. They don't read these books. Like they skim through the pages, they cherry pick just a few things out, but they're not reading these books with any type of comprehension. So I just really think they're a waste of time.
So yeah, I'm about to wrap this up, y'all. It's been good. It's so nice talking to y'all. But yeah, I shall end with a song to get about it.
Thank you, cousin.
Yeah, that's the
Lovely
one.
live.
That's the one.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on
And one
YouTube
last
and
thing, you're a more brother Islam.
I'm gonna play that then, y'all. Wanashi.
What's that other song? We're God's chosen people, Israelites. All right, peace, Darvin.
All right, y'all.
Dog, fuck me to stay on them boys' necks.
What's up?
All right, bro. I'm gonna hold you about.
Peace a la chique, cousin.
All right, peace. If y'all want to stay and vibe out, that's cool. I'm about to wrap the live up.
You're a more brother Islam. Like an Indian just means that you're a slave. Turn a noble true Ali to really get saved. Cause you're a more brother. In actuality, it's time to claim your real nationality. America is our Morocco, and you ain't even know like your name is Rocco. R.I.P. True Ali, we totally miss him. Cause he's the one to get us out the system. You're a Pick up a book and read the treaties and the Black Law Dictionary. Here's a freebie. You're not black, you're truly white. Black is dead, and that's why you have to fight for your life.
songs from chat in my playlist. But I'm gonna start adding a lot more Green Day and My Chemical Romance songs to my playlist because you guys have